The Morning Show with EVH. I'm Eric Von Hessler. My goodness, look who's right over there. Pretty sexy pregnant lady herself.
It's me.
Autumn Fisher.
Hello.
Right next to her, the extraordinarily talented Michael Albanese.
I feel like you're mocking me right now. I think that was in jest.
Lifting you up to knock you down. That's how the
you.
game goes.
Oh, what a
Thank you.
guy.
But at first I lift.
I didn't catch you either, man. You flew right by me with that.
Very positive. Greg Russ is over there flying the ship. And
where's my compliment?
My compliment to you is that you have, some would say the audacity, some would say the courage to wear the same shirt 2 days in a row.
Look,
So
I
your compliment.
didn't win the lottery, and that's why I played in the first place. So I could buy
Yeah.
more shirts, and this is what you're going to be stuck with for the rest of the week.
So this is it?
Until I can do some laundry.
Well, I have
in a bathtub.
Why don't? Is that how you do it?
Well, yeah, I bathe and I wash my clothes at the same time.
All right. Well, we have actually washing machines here. You could bring your clothes over. You could wash them. This stuff can be done. Why didn't you just wear an older shirt from a few days ago?
Because it's been warm, and this is only a short sleeve shirt I have.
You couldn't handle it just for one. Okay. I've got a slight.
Look, it's clean.
Complaint.
Yeah, how's it smell?
On you.
What's my
complaint? Slight complaint.
Smite.
Well, smite sounded better.
Smite
a smite complaint.
Not so accidental.
Smoting.
All right, what is it?
All right. Well, one is that you talk away from the microphone quite a bit.
I was getting my coffee.
All right. And the other is that yesterday I tuned in. I usually like to listen to the show because I enjoy it more, because usually when I watch, I just think, oh, your hair looks stupid or whatever. But I enjoy listening to the show. I think it's a great radio show. And but I watch it as well to make sure things. And so I realized as soon as I turned it on, after the show yesterday, I thought, wow, that was a really good show. I really thought it was good. As soon as I turned it on, I realized the Shanzing sign behind me and this light are off for the whole show. Now, this is what you need to understand, Greg. You're the floor director. You're handling the cameras. Once the show starts, I'm facing you. So if I don't notice that this stuff is not on before we start, I'm never going to notice because I'm looking this way the whole time.
So which light wasn't on? The lamp or the red light?
Shanzing was not on.
Shanzing, I get it. That's
that
your
was
baby.
Not on.
That's
the red
shameless
light.
promotion.
The red light was not on.
Shameless promotion.
This is a Shanzing Films production. I mean, it's weird to say films, but this is a Shanzing production. That's why that's there. The red light wasn't on, which I know is kind of annoying, and I'm going to move it. It doesn't really work where it is. My point is,
it gives you a nice pink glow. You look like a baby mouse.
Thank you.
That red light.
I didn't yesterday, and why didn't I look like a baby mouse
Because you didn't have these overhead lights on.
Well, that
hang from the center of the room.
Again,
that's why.
That's
the
another
worst.
thing.
You're
supposed to be the one who notices these sort of things. How could you look all day long through these cameras and not notice that this sign wasn't on? I'm worried about you.
He is doing a lot of things over there, right?
I know that, but it's
keep defending me, Autumn. Go.
It's not
let
charity.
her defend me.
He's got mics to move up and down the volumes. He's got different sounders. There was a lot of breaking news yesterday.
There was a lot of breaking news.
Of things.
Yeah, that happened an awful lot.
A lot of me interrupting Autumn accidentally.
Yes.
A lot of me interrupting Mike purposely.
Yeah, so you were
a
little worried about your little breaking news joke, and not worried enough about what your picture looked like. And this is kind of your
as
job
far as I'm
here.
concerned, this is a radio show first.
Okay.
The cameras are secondary. In terms of everything else that's run over here. Everything. You want to grab this camera? You want to give people a view of what we have going on over here?
No, I don't know. That's all right.
Oh, yeah, because it'll expose you. It'll expose you for being irrational.
I think most people actually listen to the show. I'll be honest with you. If I could start again, I probably wouldn't even have cameras because I think it just sounds really, really good, and I like the way it sounds. But now I can't stop having cameras because then people, oh, what happened? Is he broke? He can't do it. They're going backwards.
Look, he had to sell the cameras.
That's right. He got them from Rent-A-Center.
I didn't. Yeah, exactly. The rental is up, and I can't afford them anymore. And I just didn't envision the thing as just audio, but it probably would have been an easier thing. So it's a little more difficult, and I understand that. But you just need, when you're looking at stuff, be thinking, is this on? Is that on? We didn't have full lighting in here yesterday.
He's upset because
like that shot? That's
no,
a nice shot there.
I don't like that shot.
Gorgeous.
Here's the problem.
This is the new frame for the rest of the show. There's your Shanzing sign.
There
you go.
Put me to where I'm just barely in there. My hand.
Greg, I think it boils down to he's upset that he spent $40 or $50 at Spencer's Gifts for those lights and signs, and he's really upset that they don't get
This sign was a gift to me. from my wife and my son. They went to Pigeon Forge, or what was the big town around there? The big tourist.
I thought Pigeon Forge was.
It is, but there's more of a redneck.
What's that big town by Pigeon Forge? I think it's Chicago. You're looking for. That's the closest big town.
It's a big redneck.
Are you talking about the ones that make the birdhouse that says
Rock
City?
No.
Chattanooga?
No. This is near Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and it's
Kansas City.
Dollywood.
No, Dollywood
Nashville.
No.
Memphis.
Asheville.
I don't know. It's a
Asheville,
town that's
Tennessee.
like a
Asheville, Tennessee.
Wait.
No, Asheville, North Carolina.
Atlanta.
it's a
We said it's in
redneck
Tennessee.
tourist town. Maybe somebody in the
Macon.
chat room. will know.
Helen.
No.
Oh, the other one. Dahlonega.
No.
Tallulah
it's in
Gorge.
Tennessee.
Lawrenceville.
Valdosta.
No.
Doesn't
So anyway,
exist.
my son got a wooden sword, and they were doing this where you can put anything and make signs. And so they came back with a sign.
He found at a garage sale. He goes, "That sounds like a good name for a production company." What does Shenzig mean?
We already had Shenzing as the name, and she brought this back, and then it became it's such a cheap, stupid thing, but I like it for that reason as my logo. It's just completely generic.
Looking here at Pigeon Forge, there's a Titanic museum.
There's
We have
a
that
lot of
here.
stuff
In
there.
Pigeon Forge, the
Yeah,
Titanic Museum.
But there's a bigger tourist redneck town near there.
closest
That's like
Dollywood
Knox-
is right by
Knoxville is the closest.
No, it's
city.
not. It's not a big city.
Gatlinburg? People are saying
Gatlinburg.
That was from the
That
social
was the
stream.
big city you were looking for, Eric?
Michael, I'm saying it's the big redneck tourist attraction. It's bigger than Pigeon Forge. If you live in Pigeon Forge and you go to the big city,
Very proud to say that I
you
had
go to
no
Gatlinburg.
idea.
So
I will say this. I'll defend this. That I did. There's a casino up somewhere there that I did a show in, and I was traveling from there to, I think, Nashville to do another show, and I passed through. I went through the mountains of the national forest. It actually is really cool. Like, I want to go back and hang there.
it's
But
the Blue Ridge Mountains.
yeah,
right?
but I don't have a girlfriend, so it doesn't make sense for just me to go up there.
No,
Just
you should.
trolling for broads and Pigeon Forge. You want to go on the go-karts there? You look sunburnt. Let me put some aloe on it, you fat mess.
You look like you can't afford the go-karts. Why don't you ride with me?
Really? I just got paid $30 to do a gig at a casino, babe.
It's burning a hole in my pocket.
It was a lot more before I hit the roulette table, though.
So can I get that? You're not being too defensive, so I think that in a way you kind of agree with me, Greg, that maybe you should have caught that. Can you just agree with me once?
I agree.
Okay, all
I
right.
agree.
So in the
I
future,
take
just try.
pride since I do other things with video camera work. I feel like I've let myself down.
You pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not up to your standard. All right, it's not up to your standard. That's
You've
what
already
I'm saying.
seen through the front, Mike. Michael knows. He's
Yeah.
intuitive with these things. Like Greg's a pussy. He pretends to be tough and angry all the time, but
No, you are. You're not. When's the last time you were in a fight, a
Big
fist
fat
fight?
phony.
7th grade, and it wasn't even a fist fight. We were playing tackle football in the neighborhood, and this kid who didn't tackle me came up and kicked me. And then it took 30 minutes after we were done with the game for me to get angry. I jumped on my bicycle, rode down to where I knew he was, jumped off the bicycle, and pounded him in the head. Not punched, pounded. And then by the time I got home, my dad had already gotten a phone call, standing there with his arms crossed, and made me go apologize.
Oh, so you were the bully in that situation. Why did it take so long
the
for your
kid
anger to
deserved
build
it.
it? Were you angry from the time it happened and then just thought about it all the way through and then went home and thought, no, I'm shamed unless I go down there and do something about
It
this?
just boiled. It was
Right.
it was a slow boil inside. And then I erupted, jumped on the bicycle, and went down, found him. He didn't even know what was going on. He's like, "What's going on?" I just walked up to him.
And you just started pounding him in the head.
Oh, no.
Sounds
One
like he
pound.
does-
1 pound. in
One
the head.
pound. Bam.
Sounds like you deserve
Gone.
like the whack-a-mole. Just
Yeah, it
boom.
wasn't a punch. It was a pound.
Yeah.
It was over my head and down.
Did he fall or did he just stand there like, what just happened?
Yeah, I'd
Is
be
this guy
confused.
crazy? Or
He
Ow.
kind of stood there. I think I heard him. I like to think I heard him.
did he ever kick you again?
No.
Well, message delivered.
That's right.
He was a strange kid, though. I shouldn't have done that because he had some.
He has
pet-
some sort of
He had some
thing?
pet goldfish, and when they died, he carried them around in his back pocket for a while. So he probably became a serial killer.
In 7th grade?
Were they like in a bag or were they just in his
No,
pocket?
he put him in a Ziploc bag and carried him around.
Wait, but
but-
these were his goldfish that just died a natural death.
I took a spider in a bag to school once.
But it was alive, right?
No, it was dead.
and it's also a spider.
It was a black widow, and my mom used to work at she was like a secretary at a pest control company, and so I was like, yeah, my mom knows all about spiders, and she was just like, it's just a black spider, and she put it in a bag for me so I could take it to show off at school, and it didn't
It didn't go over well?
It didn't really last. I just kind of stuck in my pocket, and then it was just like a mushy pile of legs
Ew.
when I got to school.
Sitting on it all day.
Showing all the hot girls, hey, what's going on, Emily? Checking out this spite. Where you going? Where you going?
Huh? Hey. That's,
I want to smell you. All right, goodbye.
Before we go to news, I want to, tomorrow at the Village Theater,
Yeah, it's gonna.
we're going to be doing this Armando thing, and that's where the Village Theater is right by the. It's very easy to find, right? Because it's right there by the
King Memorial.
King Memorial. It's basically right there. Is it in the
East-West
old,
line,
Is it
yeah.
in the old pencil factory thing?
Well,
Is it?
It's
that
near
actually
it.
is not a pencil factory, but it is inside the pencil factory. It's the
Right.
like the pencil factory lofts. It's like a giant building, and then the baits. The
This
bottom.
is Cabbage Town.
It
It is. They list
It's
themselves.
like halfway between Cabbage Town and downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's the one with that big famous smokestack
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Right.
It's in the bottom row is all businesses, and there's a
Greg used to have a
beautiful
house,
black
or he still
box
does have a
theater
house
there.
over there. He's he's a magnate. He has real estate all over. the
Anyone
city.
want
He
to
has
buy
a
it? Please buy it.
So
It
we're
just
gonna.
How
sits
much are you
there.
renting it
It's,
for? I'm being
I
halfway
cover
serious.
my mortgage, so $1,000.
How many bedrooms?
2.
We can talk about this later.
It's a good place. It's a good place. It's right there on that main drag of Cabbage. There's one main drag on Cabbage Town.
No, that's not. No, it's not.
No, I mean his house.
Oh, okay.
It's
on Carroll
that,
Street.
It's on that
Yeah,
cool
I
drag.
used to live in the cotton mill loft.
So anyway, so it's there, and the way this works is it's called the Armando Show. They do it every Friday, and they have different guests come in and tell stories from their lives. And then the improv group, that is the House Improv Group,
Right.
there, who are great from what I understand, are going to act out stories from my life. And
Yes.
I have a lot of stories in my life, but I don't know which ones are appropriate. You've been there.
anything's appropriate.
All right.
And
I'm not going to tell the stories, but I'm going to give you the names of the stories. And
You know which one I vote for.
yeah, this is what made me start thinking, because Greg asked me yesterday, what did you ask me?
Ask if you're going to tell the huffing paint story.
It wasn't huffing paint, it was huffing gasoline.
Oh, yeah, gasoline. I got it confused
And
with
I like
Charlie
that.
from...
Wow, that
Way better story.
It was gasoline.
my huffing story is a really good story, but then I'm thinking, do I want to be up there telling stories about
Absolutely.
huffing?
You should.
That's a good story.
Well,
and
yeah,
it sets
because-
it up. It sets up a great scene, I think.
Yeah.
You go with that story.
And you like realized everything in the universe.
But you're not supposed to tell him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
it's a good ending. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? There'll be.
yeah.
It's
a very
not just
short
like,
Well, I
story.
did, but then I forgot it immediately. That's the thing.
right. So it's not like you just it's huffing gas.
Can I quickly tell you what it is, Mike?
No, what are they talking
off
about?
there. I
What are
don't
they
wanna-
talking
Okay,
about?
you
We
don't
got to
wanna
show up
plug it,
tomorrow. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. But here are the other type stories that are at the top of my head. These are the headlines. Tripping at the golf course.
That's a good one.
There's a lot of drugs involved in these.
It's okay.
these
It's okay. Most of mine were drug related.
It makes me wonder
my
about
life.
my life. The time that I rode in a bus for about 5 miles with a girl who worked next to me so that we could have sex together for the first time, but then her breath was so bad that I kicked her out into the snow and gave her bus change. That's a
pretty good
decent story.
Bus
Pretty good story.
change.
15 years old, walking in, seeing my Vietnam veteran roommates shooting up in the bathroom. Is that a good one?
Well, here's what I would recommend for this particular format. Come up with one that you like, and any of those would be a great story to start.
Yeah.
But then once they start going through it, you will want to base your next story on something that might have come up in the improv. So they might
Okay.
you
They might
come
trigger.
up- yeah, it'll trigger something, and then just whatever it is, it doesn't matter
Right.
because
Be in the moment.
you're not supposed to or have to get laughs. Like you're not trying to
Right,
get there and
no.
kill the crowd.
Right.
That's their gig. You know?
Right.
But you tell. Something
I just
cool
tell the
that people
story.
wanna
I give
see.
them.
Yeah.
I give them the skeleton of the story. Well, I'm definitely going to start with my first memory of my life: looking in the mirror, 4:00 in the morning, combing my hair, getting ready to go see my dad in prison. So I know where I'm going to start.
Yeah, and then just let it ride from there, and just make it let it.
And
be
the other
natural.
story is me and Kato Kalin together when the
Oh,
O.J.
God, maybe
Simpson
you should tell
verdict
it.
came down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I've got good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Village Theater tomorrow night, 8:30.
Because there's 2 shows, so you want to go to the 8:30 one.
Right.
Two?
There's
No.
one show.
Other
There's
than one.
8:30 and 10. I saw.
Well, I
online.
think they do a different show.
A different show,
That's
but
what
I'm
I mean.
not
Like,
there.
don't buy the 10
Oh,
o'clock
she's
one.
just saying, don't
go
make the mistake.
villagecomedy.com.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 Armando.
VillageComedy.com, 8:30.
I
I'll
will
tell the
be
stories. They'll
barreling-
act it out.
I'll be barreling down there after my ridiculous.
I know
private
you've got
gig.
this weird. Can you talk about that, or can you not talk about that?
I mean, nobody can go to it. It's like
Right.
It's
It's
a,
a
it's
private
a country
gig.
club where I'm basically going to be. Me and another comic are going to be just like interrupting a speech for like 2 minutes and then leave with money in our hands.
Right. It's a weird thing. It's some rich guy who wants you to come in.
I
and do
wouldn't.
it.
I'm rich, not rich. I mean,
It's okay. It's
it's,
okay. Being rich is not a negative.
he's a nice guy. It seems he's
Not
like
pejorative.
he's got a really cool attitude and you know, he's just like, hey man, I like comedy. I'd like you to come interrupt
Just seems to me like you think
having a
that-
speech. I'm like, all right.
I think it's funny that
I've
when
done some weird gigs. I did a gig, another golf course gig. I did. I got hired to. It was a charity golf tournament, and I sat on one of the holes, or the tees.
You sat on a hole.
Yeah. Well, that was afterwards. I sat at one of the tees, and as the groups came by, I just heckled the shit out of them.
That was your job.
My gig was to sit there.
Say you're a terrible golfer in 900
I did
different
all
ways.
kinds. I almost got I wouldn't say I almost got beat up. A guy tried to come at me, and it was hilarious because you don't think of a comic as a big fella or someone that, you know. Typically, people think that the comic genome is this small, weak, you know,
Pencil neck.
timid guy, and this guy was this like thick neck, clearly, you know, hasn't gotten over his, you know, run pass record in high school.
He peaked early, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, that's what I told him, because he came at me because he was like, oh, I said something very loose and not even close to being silly or mean, and he goes, oh, did you fat guy in skinny jeans gonna try to tell me what's up? I was like, really? I was like, that was your move? You called jeans? I said, don't get mad at me because you peaked in high school.
And
then
he
started coming at me, and I just stood I was like, really? At a charity golf tournament, you're gonna beat up the comic? Slice the ball, stupid. And then and his buddies like laughed it off, but he came at me, like he came at me, and I didn't move, and I think he just freaked out. He's like,
Right.
you're supposed to cower at me.
Yeah.
My
Was
red.
he a big guy also?
I mean, he looked like the guy's gonna have big titties at some point because the steroids that he took in high school are gonna start
beginning to
kicking
fade.
in. Yeah. You know,
You ever do the corporate gig around Christmas? When I was doing stand-up, we would get a lot of jobs, sort of corporate gigs that were, a lot of times they wanted them to be in kind of the roast situation where you walk in and you're making fun of everybody and you're not really known. And like 2 or 3 times I almost got beat up by people at Christmas office Christmas parties when I was the comedian.
No, I've written for some roast stuff. I'm actually tonight I'm writing for a roast that's happening Sunday. I
don't understand the idea of a
private
roast.
thing.
Can I tell you, I've never gotten the concept of, we think you're so great, we want to call you an asshole for 2 straight hours. I really don't get that.
It doesn't work. Well, here's why people are doing it now, I think.
Because
and
of Comedy
it's
Central.
because of television.
Yeah.
Right.
People think, oh, this will be so much fun. But the problem is that it's comedians. And I'm not saying the comics are better than anybody. And
Right.
in fact, most times we're not than anybody. But we live in a world where it's nonstop ball busting. And it's constantly just dragging each other down for the betterment of our own self-esteem.
Right.
But because that is where we live, we're used to that. Like someone could call me. You can say anything you want to me, and it's not going to affect me. Probably.
Right.
And mostly, like, a lot of comics hate themselves more than anyone could hate them. Right?
No, but we've definitely
There's a darkness at the center of the soul.
That's definitely
Right.
a thing. But there's like nothing you can say that a professional, someone who says that hasn't said to
Right.
me worse and 1,000 times over and pointed at me while he was
Right.
saying
Right.
it. So, you know, I think that people, you know, civilian, like non-comics, like, oh, this will be fun. We can call each other gay. Like,
Yeah.
No, because especially if you hire a comic to come do a roast where it's not comics, someone's going to leave crying.
Yeah.
And don't you think
Yeah.
that you appreciate other comics appreciate the joke more than
Oh,
the actual
absolutely, yeah.
insult?
Because that's what it's not. Because in everyday life, that's what we do.
Right.
I was at
Right.
Taco Mac in Midtown. I did shows last night, and a bunch of comics met up, and it was just like. It literally, this phrase was spoken before we sat down. Someone said, "Jesus Christ, can we order our drinks before someone starts crying?"
Yeah.
Like that's what it was. Like, and like nobody. It was like we couldn't even be around each other for more than 2 minutes
Without going
it
after
being
each
like,
other.
"You look like an asshole. What shirt are you wearing?"
I don't know. I think that the it's like I think a lot of it is Jeffrey Ross.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of made it famous. I mean, his whole thing now is he's the roast comedian. He's, you know, you hire him to come in and tell you what a jerk you are and, you know, how ugly you are and everything. And he's obviously very good at it. But there is a talent to doing that to where. But I swear, I'm not the roast type. I saw Jeffrey Ross go after B. Arthur once on Comedy Central, and I didn't like it. I like B. Arthur.
Right.
And,
well, that's
and I
why
thought
you should
here
like
she
it
is,
more.
she's
Because
like,
listen, the more you bust someone, that probably means the more you like them.
No, I know that, but she obviously got turned off because she was, you know, here she is in her 70s or whatever, and she has enough of a sense of humor to be okay with going and doing that.
Right.
But then I thought that got abused. You know, I think it does have to be a bit of a
That's-
line. You
that's
can't
the
just
move,
start,
though.
you know.
Maybe
yeah.
you felt bad for her because she was older and she was a woman.
I
you
felt
know?
like she wanted to be in the spirit of it, but that it just got so far out of hand that she
Right.
couldn't help but feel like, oh, what the hell did I sign up for this for?
Well, I've heard
you know?
that a lot of people are crying after roasts, those professional roasts. Like
Well,
ladies in the back are
non-comics.
crying.
The non-comics.
No, like even some of the Lisa Lampanelli has been in the back crying.
Really?
Lisa Lampanelli,
Yeah,
she goes after people.
I think she understands what's happening, but
Right.
it still was like, oh shit, that hurt.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, comics are still people.
I mean, Dean
Right, that's
Martin,
what I mean.
like the
but
old
then it's
roast,
just how you deal with
But
it.
yeah,
It's
it
how you,
rolls
it's how
off her
you,
back
it's how you
after that.
recover
Yeah.
from it. It's
Right.
like,
Exactly.
because you see someone say something to me, it's like, God damn it! All right,
Yeah.
and I'm back. Like it's like you're absolutely. That's the problem is that when you do that, you're being completely honest.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's
you're
what the
being like a
problem is.
little kid. It's all id,
Yeah.
right? You're just
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
exactly because, or like when you're in traffic and someone yells at you, you're like, "Fat bitch!" You're like, "Oh, I guess I am a little fat," you know, because you
Yeah.
don't say
That's
stuff
not
like
the
that.
same. That is not.
No, but I'm saying it's the id. You know, it's like
Traffic
whatever.
roasting.
Yeah. Traffic roast.
No, I'm
This is
sorry.
where we should start Eric Von Hessler's series of traffic roast.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying that being in traffic and yelling is like a roast. I'm saying
I just
that
feel like you're giving that guy a pass. The guy who calls you fat bitch in traffic. He needs to drive off a cliff.
yeah, all right, that's true. But I'm saying though that no one is going to call you fat like
Right.
that in the instant without you.
And then
being
you
a little
go,
bit
oh,
fat.
well, maybe I am gaining some weight. Yeah,
Right.
it does. It does hurt to a certain degree. The old roast were different. You know, I mean, I think that, the old Dean Martin roast, Frank Sinatra used to show up and say, Dean gets Dean gets bombed more than an American embassy in South America. Or, I mean,
If there
he
wasn't a
he
little-
gets stoned more than an embassy in South America. It's like, okay, you're alluding to the fact that he gets stoned. It's not really... It was more about the kind of let's have some fun.
Well, no,
the
unless you were-
Comedy
unless you
Central
were-
type of roast is just let's dig into and get as deep and hard and almost mean as we can about this person. I don't know if that's the spirit of
But
the
then
roast.
they do at the end. They're like, "I love you." You know, they do
well,
it.
there's always going to be that at the end.
I don't know. Go back and watch some of the older roasts. Like there's some that are on like whenever broadcasts that were just for private.
Like Friars
And
Club.
yeah,
ones.
like
Right,
there
the
was
Friars
there was a
Club's
roast
right,
of Richard Pryor that you can find on YouTube that never aired, but it's on and now lives online. That's like, first of all, and if you were black, back in those roasts, I mean, it was worse than anything you've ever seen today. Like,
Oh, no,
it was
but the world was different.
Incredible how bad you got picked on and just this
Oh,
blatant
the world
racism.
has changed so much on that one. I remember walking into record stores when comedy LPs in the 70s, everybody did them. They were a big thing. And Richard Pryor was huge. And I remember walking into a record store. It was 1976, obviously, because the name of the record, I believe, was Bicentennial N-Word. And not only was that record there, there's a huge display as you walk in, and it didn't say N-Word. I mean, it was a different world, And, like, you could say the N-word on television, and that stuff changed in the mid
still
80s or
can,
something.
it just-
No, you
whether
still
you do
can,
or
but
don't
there's
do
no
it,
purpose in it. You can't get past it. You can't get
Yeah.
your point across. There's nothing you can do. You're just going to stop the room when you say that word. So, I mean, we've been swearing here. That word's never. We still say the N-word.
Yeah.
We've said cock, fuck. When it comes to that one, the N-word, because we just don't want the
Pointless
trouble.
word.
If we
know,
said it
we
in
know we're not
context, do you think
racist.
it'd be all right?
No.
If we said it. Somebody
No,
else said
you
this.
can't. It's just been. That's one part of speech that you just if you do it and you drop it, then anything you say afterward, context, everything is just gone. It's a screeching halt for part of the audience that's going to make your life a living hell as soon as the show's over. So you just don't do it.
It is possible to use that, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
And it only in the I don't know. Whatever that word's.
There
I
has-
think you
yeah,
want to
there has
open.
be
I
It's
think
a stupid word.
if you're playing a black comedy club, maybe the opening joke, if you're a white comedian, you might want to drop it there and just
Maybe, yeah.
test the temperature
Yeah,
of the
just be
room.
like,
Or
bring it.
not.
I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you guys.
See how that
I'm
goes.
saying it.
Are we ready to do our little Patreon pitch, and then we'll go to Autumn? Is that good for you? I'm waiting for your. Here's your. We'd like to take this time to thank all of our Patreon.com investors. All the shows at ericvon.com will always be free for everybody, but we do invite you to join our team and invest in our product if you have the means to do so. And if you want to be part of the little network that could, Eric Von Radio. That's how I'm thinking of our network now. The little network that could. Everybody bitches and moans about the current state of radio. You have $10 a month to help us do something about it. If you do, please check out our page at patreon.com. Just go to that website, search for Eric Von Radio, and you'll see all the little perks and goodies we have for you. Should you decide to invest at different levels, $10 level, $25 level, $50 level, even $100 level. At that level, you meet with me a couple times a year and we talk about the network. If you can't be part of the team by contributing your dollars, please consider helping us by spreading the good word. Link us out to all your social media friends. Brag about us. Tell everyone you can about us. We invite you to join the team any way you can. If you've got $10 a month, do it that way. If you don't have $10 a month, spread the word. That's the Eric Vaughn Radio page at patreon.com. Check it out. Now, Autumn.
Yes.
What's in the news?
I'll tell you.
Why can't I get that sounder quicker?
Because
Because you kept the other
the
one
disco
going.
con tutti has to stop.
No, you can
which
stop.
is your Patreon pitch
I know.
music, and then I have to switch over to the breaking news.
I think
stinger.
you're a little late there, though. I think I stopped.
There's a
and you
delay
kept
in the
it playing.
program. Let's try this again.
So
Patreon.
please
no,
go to.
no, I'm going to go through this. So here. Then I have to click to stop it. Then I have to go over. They're next to each other on this
Why
button
can't you
bar.
just stop the next one? No, you just start the next one, and then go back and stop that one.
That sounds terrible. Here's,
No, just start the next one and then go back and
think
stop it.
Here's
See how
what,
it
here's
sounds
what this
like.
would sound like. This is going to sound like. Well, I'm not going to. Let's let people decide.
Perfect.
No. You like that bleed? I hate it.
You know it was good.
Kind
Autumn,
of sounded good.
what's
Yeah,
in the
I
news?
didn't find it either.
I've been doing this for 30 years. Autumn, what's in the news?
All right, so
What do you know?
Yeah, nothing.
He's never
Nothing.
touched
You
the
don't even
control.
pronounce your last name properly.
Yeah,
It should
that's
be
true.
Hey Sealair.
Heisler. Yeah, we were talking before the show came on about your son and about my husband. Very different ages, but very into the same thing. Pokemon is being played by tens of thousands of people on this service called Twitch. And it's this really interesting phenomenon that and it kind of is like an experiment, really. So at first, it's just a Pokemon game where anyone who wanted to put any command, any direction, anything,
You type it into the chat.
you just type it in,
Right.
and the next time a move becomes available, whatever is at the top of the list is what is done on the game. So that was going on for a while, and it's just kind of fun to watch or fun to participate
in
in.
the beginning, this happened, by the way. I didn't see my son all afternoon, and then last night he comes down from upstairs. I'm like, where you been? What are you doing? And he tells me about this thing that's going on
Right.
online. 100,000 people or something
Right.
are playing and trying to maneuver this Pokemon through whatever maze
Yeah.
all at the same time.
All at once. So everyone
15
is
million total views and 100,000 players.
Yeah.
It's the peak at once.
So these guys are to get 100,000 people trying to type commands in all at the same time.
Right, so it's not like all of the commands are done. It's
Right.
when the move becomes available, whatever is at the top is what
Is
happens.
what goes.
Yeah.
And at first it was all well, now it's broken down into democracy and anarchy, but it
So-
was all democracy at first.
The reason, no, it was all anarchy. At
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry. It was all anarchy
Yeah.
at first.
So, it was all anarchy, but then there was this maze room that was super difficult and needed more precision.
Right.
And so, I guess Twitch made a mode called democracy mode, where people would still be putting in a bunch of different commands, but it would wait like 2 minutes or something.
There was a
and
certain
collect-
algorithm.
it would collect the amount of moves,
Right.
and whoever won, like whatever, whoever, if they all said go up,
Right.
if 20,000 people said up and 15,000 people said go down, then up would win, and the character would
Right.
go up.
And that was called democracy.
Right, and that's
because
called
that
democracy.
was the way that the crowd could actually, through their will, actually get the. Because my son told me that he watched this thing bang against a wall for like an hour
Yeah.
because people are all typing stuff in at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about it is then toward later on there's a huge social experiment going on here
Right.
because what they found eventually was. It turns out that there's certain times where anarchy is the best way to go.
Correct.
And then there are certain, so they'll need democracy to get out of a room or something. And
Right.
then when it's time to fight, the democracy people are now stepping aside, and it's almost like bringing in the military. Now it's anarchy, and that will allow this to actually beat this next foe or whatever.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of it's.
Can we have Pokemon music?
I feel like that Patreon music kind of
Wasn't
reminds me of
that?
So there's a little bar at the top of
Yeah.
the screen that sort of goes back and forth, and people can vote for democracy or vote for anarchy. So I guess like what you're saying, yes. So some people believe, but
the
it's
beauty
all
of
over
this
the place.
But the beauty of this is that it really is the will of the crowd. There's no way 100,000 people can collude together in a matter of seconds to do the next thing.
Right.
And so if you watch this experiment build long enough, you can actually learn what works in society. And already they've learned that it's not all democracy or all anarchy,
Right.
that it turns out that sometimes democracy is what gets you forward and sometimes it's anarchy, which is interesting.
Well, then,
to see,
we were. Travis and I were talking about this morning because I said,
Who's Travis, by the
Oh,
way?
sorry, that's my husband.
Thank you.
My husband. He was saying that a lot of people don't like the democracy. I'm sorry, a lot of people don't like, the democracy mode because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
When you're putting in all these codes and you're waiting and waiting, and then something finally happens, it's just not as interesting.
Right.
And then
But it can be more effective.
But it can be more effective. So I was saying, because this is happening on a small scale with this Pokemon game, and it happens in life,
Right.
there must be some sort of biological advantage to having this be the way, like human nature. This must be in human nature for
Well,
this.
we're learning it.
Well, it's interesting.
It's a huge experiment with 100,000
Right.
people who cannot collude.
Right.
So you're really, really seeing, what the crowd will do,
Right.
or and what's more effective and what the crowd does that isn't effective, and then the crowd learns. So I may be against democracy because it takes too long.
Right.
But actually, we got out of that room quicker. Each move took longer, but we actually got through that part of
Right.
the puzzle quicker because we used democracy.
So I was making the analogy of being like on a desert island,
Right.
and maybe some of us would want to go anarchy mode and some of us would want to
Yeah.
go democracy mode, and maybe the anarchy mode would be like, well, I'm going to cut down this tree just for the hell of it, or I'm going to dig this hole and hey, I found this coconut. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But if the democracy is like, well, should we go this way? Well, let's talk about it. Maybe maybe this way's better, but maybe the other way's
if
better.
we chop down all the trees without thinking about it, we're going to need that
Right.
later. We won't have it. I mean, it
Or
really does.
somebody gets hurt in
Right.
anarchy mode, like someone breaks a leg because they were doing something stupid, and democracy mode wouldn't have done that. So it is a really...
No, it's interesting. I don't know how, it's been going on a week, but it really picked up the last couple of days where it's really on fire. And if it keeps going on they're going to try to go through until they get through the whole game
Right.
with this. And I've never played the Pokemon game.
They
I
said
don't know.
that the point is not to win the game; it's just to see how far they can get.
Right.
So it really is an experiment.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, papers will be written about this for years to come because I can't think of an experiment like this that's ever been done, and it's really kind of organic. I don't think the person who, on Twitchy is a stream service where you watch gamers and stuff like this. So it's not Twitchy, the company, the streaming company that's doing this.
Twitch.
It's one of the Twitch. It's one of the people who is a member.
I guess they're hosting it.
Yeah, they're hosting it, and he started it, and he's the one who added democracy in as an
Right.
option because things were just taking too long. And
Well, like I
with
said, there
anarchy.
was a maze that was very difficult. Like
Yeah.
all it would be like monkeys trying to find Shakespeare or typing Shakespeare.
Yeah, it will
to
happen.
get out of that.
It's going to take a long time.
It would take a really long time. And now some people said there shouldn't have been a democracy mode for that because what would have happened was natural, was
Right.
people would not be interested anymore because you would just be watching this like failure constantly.
They'd pull back, it would get smaller.
Less people would be able to do it, and then it would everyone work together because there'd be like less
Well,
people
what they should
participating.
do, I think, after they're done with this, they should set up two and have those two race each other.
Oh, democracy versus
and anarchy, and see who gets through it quicker.
Ooh.
But it's fascinating to
But
me.
is quicker always better? You wanted it to be
Yeah.
a race.
Yeah, I
Is it
think
about
I think the idea in any kind of game is to get through it as fast as you can, right? And
But viewing this
rack
from
up those
the-
points, or
From the standpoint of an experiment of sorts,
Yeah,
you
it's-
can
it's
finish quickly, but
Right.
maybe
But you missed things.
really destroyed things in your path.
all right, you're right about that. I mean, we'll find out.
Speed is the goal if you're a nerd.
Oh, I feel like it's the other way around. Because
I know.
when I
just wanted
play
to say
games,
nerd.
sometimes
He felt like this was the time to drop the N
Video
word.
gamers are nerds.
well,
I
something else.
live with one.
Something else that's interesting about this Pokemon thing is not just the experiment, but also the fact that there are all these like religious ties that are happening within the game.
I don't understand this part.
Yeah.
Now, how is that? Because I read
Okay.
that there is a religious overtone,
Yeah.
but I didn't really. I read the article. I think it didn't pop out at me.
So there are these two items that you can get in the game, and in the very beginning they got the Helix crystal. I can't remember what it is. I think it's
Okay.
the Helix crystal, and
We're adults. It's okay not to know exactly
Okay.
the ins and outs of the Pokemon game.
that's all right. But so you got this Helix crystal, and this is in your inventory, and you cannot get rid of it. It is something that cannot be thrown away. But every other, like Pokemon and all these other things that you've created, can be thrown away. So as people are typing and typing and typing, a lot of things were accidentally gotten rid of, and they're calling these things like the false prophet and the Jesus one because it came back or something. You know,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then the Helix
So things are
crystal is
happening
God because you cannot get rid of it, and because people are just typing, you spend a lot of, like you said, your son, he just watched someone just walking into a wall.
Right.
You spend a lot of time just staring at this Helix crystal sometimes in your inventory because people aren't changing the command.
Right.
So that's like God, and you're worshiping
The
the
unchangeable.
Helix.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
That's it's fascinating. It's fascinating to me what you said there that you lose things and gain things that you didn't expect to.
Right. 'Cause
Because
people
that
just
even
throwing
shows
stuff away.
more why this as a social experiment is I don't know how worthy it is necessarily. We'll find out about that, but it's certainly fascinating. It
Yeah.
is to me, anyways. I mean, and my son, who's 16, even said, "I can't believe I watched this thing bang against a wall for There's that element of it too. Who are these 100,000
Right.
people? And they, these are the people who want to control society. I'm just interested in watching the game. Then there's people who want to get in there and make it happen.
Right.
So I don't know. It's fascinating. You got to check it out.
what if it's a different psychology of people that just want to observe and people that are like really trying to get their commands
Yeah.
in?
And how can you know if your command was the one that pushed it, even if it did what
There
you
is
want?
a list and a username.
Does it tell you? It tells you your command was the one that went through?
I don't think it tells, but like
Right.
there's your username on the left and the command that you've typed on the right, and it's scrolling up. And so I
Whatever
guess
the next command is. So I think you can watch your command move to the top of the list.
Oh.
no, it's
You couldn't have 100,000.
no, it's brr, 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 it's like list,
Yeah.
list,
Oh,
and
so
then
it's happening pretty quickly.
so
It's
you
happening
you might
just-
get yours is probably going to get lost just statistically
Okay.
or like by chance.
But
But not
Do
to the
all
Helix.
commands-
The Helix knows every
Do all
command.
commands go through?
no.
Okay.
No.
No.
You don't know which ones are going to go
People are
through.
just typing up, down, left, B, right, and
So
whatever.
the democracy
And there's
people, the way the democracy thing does is like she said, every 20 seconds if there's 51% for this move, then you go with that move, and so you get the will of the people. And the anarchy one, the anarchy people are just whatever command happens to come next is where it goes.
Right.
Michael, obviously not a gamer,
Not even a little bit. You guys are speaking Greek to me right now.
but you get the social experiment side of this, right?
I get it, but it's like
I haven't watched it. But
I have a problem with anybody spending that much time like doing anything, watching the same thing. I mean, that's
Right.
That's
well, you don't have to spend a lot of
Crazy.
time.
But
watching
they do, and it's interesting to be able to see where it would go. I think.
Yeah.
It seems to me that you just are annoyed with your roommate who games all the time.
no. I don't care. I mean, if you're game, I wish I could be a gamer because
I
it looks like
can't.
it looks like a lot of fun.
I have no
just can't.
hand-eye coordination.
I tried
so
to do it
it's
in college when it first started, like really getting big. Like Halo started to kick in, and all my roommates
Yeah.
were playing, and I didn't know how to play because I had never played before. I didn't. My parents never got we could never afford like the game systems,
Right.
So I never.
Yeah,
got
me
through.
either.
So I'd go to my friend's house, and like they all had the games, and I would I'd like, hey, show me how to do it, and they would just murk me.
Yeah.
I'd just be killed immediately.
Right.
It's like,
and it's not fun.
and I'm just like staring at the ceiling, looking around,
Mm-hmm.
like not knowing what to do, and it's like, just show me what to do. It's like, you gotta figure it out, man. It's wartime. I'm like, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm not
Before
playing.
the PlayStation and
I'm gonna go
Nintendos,
meet real people and bang chicks over here. You guys have fun playing Halo. you
I remember.
Ah, come on.
I remember. I remember the change. I loved the pinball culture. When I was 10, 11, 12, 13, there's a place called the Silver Shooter in Bartlett, Tennessee. We used to go. It was great. With the people your age, pinball and all of that. And then when it switched over to asteroids and all that kind of stuff, all my friends were interested in it. I was bored at the bowling alley game room while they would play for hours on. And so I was never into it, but I don't have good hand-eye coordination. So I knew I would never be good at it. But the thing is now, all kids play. It's almost something like 90% of kids in America can play games and play them well. And it's, usually things don't take over a culture the way that gaming has. You can't find a 13-year-old that doesn't game.
I read
It's
an
almost
article,
impossible.
I read an article a while back that said that the kids that are like extremely good at gaming could be great doctors because their hand-eye coordination and dexterity is so that like they can do surgeries and things like that.
But they never get there.
No,
Because they sit in
There's the
front
12
of the TV.
years of school gets in the way.
Listen,
I
I just shit on gamers, but I wish I could be a gamer because
Right.
it looks like so much fun. I just can't. I don't know. I don't know if I have enough
Yeah,
I don't have a brain power to sit there and do
football, but I
anything for
can't
that
sit
long.
there like Madden.
Yeah.
I love football. I love it, but I can't sit there and figure out that that is a.
But even
pass
Madden,
that I can't.
even Madden's a little more straightforward because the game ends and you can stop playing at that
Yeah.
point. And if you have
It's
a
a
season
game.
going, you save it. A lot
Right.
of these are open world games that go on for hours and hours.
Well, you're talking about like the World of
They
Warcraft.
do make great
that goes-
documentaries, though.
Well, yeah. Even if you think that this stuff is silly, and I know it has Pokemon in it, so it seems super nerdy. Maybe you
Hey,
know, there's a second.
Great franchise, that Pokemon.
That's true.
I dated a girl who got the new Pokemon for the Nintendo DS, and I ended up playing it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'll admit it.
Well, they
I was
crushed.
trying to
that's what I'm
collect
saying.
them
They
all.
crushed Yu-Gi-Oh! They had a threat there for a little while, but they crushed Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon came out the winner. On what you said, Michael, as far as skills go, I was watching a documentary, I don't know, some show on the military channel or something about tanks and modern tank warfare. And, you know, in the old days, the guy, when you got into a tank that was going to go into battle, the person who was actually doing the shooting was usually a pretty, like up there. He had been in the military a while, had a lot of experience.
Sure.
And a lot of these modern tanks, the guy who's doing the shooting is often a private, 18 years old, because since he's 5 years, it's basically a video game. It's easier to take an 18-year-old private, and he'll do a better job of doing the shooting and the aiming and all that because the display looks like a video game than the guy above him, the colonel or whoever. I mean, I don't know what your rank would be, but I mean, literally, the guy who's doing the shooting in the tank, in the modern tank, quite often is the lowest on the rank because since he's 5 years old, he's got that hand-eye thing.
Well, that's the thing with drones these days, military drones.
Yeah.
Right.
They sit in Colorado Springs
Yeah.
and they fly these things, blow stuff up, go
That's what
home,
I tell-
eat dinner with their family.
Yeah, I tell my 16-year-old, you can be part of the military and protect your country, and you never have to put yourself really in harm's way because you are helping. You can't say that those guys aren't helping. They're killing people who want to kill us, and so they're doing the job.
Well,
Why should they put themselves in front of
that
bullets?
disconnect's got to create different issues. I mean, do you
sure it
care as
does,
much about your
socially.
targets? I missed it, but whatever. I wasn't there to see it.
I had a buddy that was in Iraq. I mean, several, but one told me that when they'd go on foot patrols and they'd go out and actually be in war,
Yeah.
that they would rush back to the base so they could play Call of Duty. Seriously, yeah, it's like I can't wait to get back because I'm gonna go murk some fucking,
Yeah, that's just like let's get this
Yeah.
job done so we can get back and start playing war.
I'll give this credit, plenty of credit to gamers, but the word "merc" is just the greatest word I think ever invented, which is
What does it mean exactly?
kill. Like I'm
merc,
I'm
okay.
gonna really kill him, kill the shit out of him.
Oh, I'm gonna kill him.
That's
kill
what
him.
I understand is merc. Like
I make
I'm
fun of
gonna
these
murk
games-
these zombies. I'm gonna, I'm gonna murk this sushi bar, son.
These games, to me, I make fun of my sons and they're playing it. To me, every one of them is the same, even though the graphics are unbelievable and I don't have the skill to do them. But it seems to me that you're either shooting your way into something or you're shooting your way out of something. Seems to be basically the core of every game, and then it's just how well that's done and how the graphics are and how difficult it is. But you're always shooting in or shooting out unless you're building something. Those games I like too, but I'm just not good at games.
Minecraft?
Minecraft, you're building stuff. What? I don't even know what.
No, nothing.
Your husband's a nerd. Does he?
Yeah.
Is he doing this Twitchy thing?
He's watching it.
Right. He's
Yeah.
just not part of it.
I don't think he's participating in it, but I mean, if he was, I mean, it would just be a little bit. So my point earlier was that, even if we are making fun of them or like some people in the social stream are saying like, it's so stupid, and I can understand why you think that, but there's a bigger conversation going on, right? Then it's not just nerds in their
it
basement
truly
watching.
is-
It
truly is a social
else.
experiment that is going to have interesting findings that you could not do. How are you going to get 100,000 people together to do an experiment? This
Right.
is showing the possibilities of the internet.
and showing that even on a micro level that we are behaving in the same way that we would on a
on
macro.
a macro level,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to decide.
Nerds.
And there's also that.
Nerds.
There's also that. I don't want to tell you what your next story
It's a
is
very
going to be.
interesting conversation.
But
But I'm going to. I don't want to tell
Well,
you.
you want to
what
talk about the black hole? That we're all in a black
I want
hole?
to talk about this
First of all,
next.
she has a name.
You got me up? Turn me up.
You're up.
17. And right after that, America, we have the number 49. Tonight, we're heading to Las Cruces, New Mexico to meet Brian Heim. Brian matched all 5 white ball numbers and, of course, won $1 million. Next up tonight, 54, and that's followed by 35. We're going to round it out. There you go with the number 1. Now, for tonight's winning Powerball number, good luck. It is 34, and tonight's Power Play multiplier is 3.
There you go. They
What does that mean,
called
Power Play
the
multiplier?
Powerball winner last night, and guess what? I think it's 1 in 175 million are the odds. One guy got the numbers.
You say guy, do you know for sure that it's a man?
But no, we don't know that it's a man.
It's got to be a man, obviously, because smart things happen.
Yeah, exactly, because he picked the right numbers. A woman would never know the numbers to pick. It's just their brain works differently.
Yeah, it's stupider.
Ticket was sold in California.
I didn't even check my numbers.
$425 million. Now, if he takes the payout, it's going to be closer to
270 million, I think it was, somewhere around there.
What?
If you take the payout.
You take
And
the payout
Is that after taxes
Yeah.
or before taxes?
before taxes.
Jesus.
No, that's after.
What are you gonna do with
'Cause
$100
you
million?
get 400.
No, the
There was
payout.
one winner.
Okay, I understand that, but the payout option basically means, see, if you want the 425 million, basically over 20 years or so, the government keeps sending you checks for that. But a lot of times, what people want to do is the government will say, "Well, we'll write you one check for $270 million," and I think at that point you still have to pay taxes on that.
If
I
knew
could be
that-
wrong.
if
Maybe
I
the
knew
taxes
that,
are built in.
I wouldn't have played. Screw that.
Well, you could do the other thing too.
170 million in the end after taxes.
You
No.
just have to have the faith that 20 years from now, the whole Powerball thing is still going to be healthy and they're going to be able to pay you the money. That's all that you have to, as long as you believe in that. A lot of people are like, you know what, just give me one check for $270 million. It's 9 billion times more than I ever thought I was going to have in my life, and I can be done with the state in my life, and I don't have to worry about them, you know?
I'd rather not have them hold on to my dough.
Right, because what if there's a
Don't
collapse?
choke on yourself.
Sorry.
It's not that serious.
What if there's a collapse in the economy that's
Right,
twice
yeah.
as bad
I
as
don't need
2008? You
Powerball
don't
telling
know
me,
that it's going to be there.
Well, in the front print, no, give me my
Yeah,
money.
once I've got the money in my hand, I can decide what to do with it. So you had told us the
I
other
turned into a
day.
gangster rapper, apparently. Give me my money, bitch! And that's how much I
refuse.
know about rap.
I refused to check my ticket last night just because I wanted to go to sleep thinking maybe there was still a chance.
You the Charlie Bucket of Powerball players?
Yeah.
One more night of sleep for cheer up, Charlie.
And then I woke up.
Don't be so blue.
And then Eric
I'll do
sends
the
out
whole
the
song.
article.
You want me to do
The
whole song?
article,
I'll do it.
winner in California, and then I didn't. I just
Wiener.
left the ticket in the hotel room. So if there is, because you can still win, right?
$7.
$7 if you
Read
get.
it and weep.
So what leads to $7?
What do you mean?
You get like one number. How do you get
I
$7?
got 2 numbers and the P-ball.
So that gives you $7.
According to the Powerball website. Now one above it, I got like if I had combined some of these, I could have won $1 million. I was just
You just were in the wrong
you
order.
know how it goes. I was like a million times off. I always play quick picks though because I don't trust myself to.
What's kind of strange here is this is the same area of the country where somebody else won the big Powerball. Remember we had
Rigged.
2 winners. One was in Georgia and one was in California when they had the really big one, the $640
Because
million.
we have the most degenerates in those 2 states that play.
Perhaps. I don't know. But it's kind of because it's the San Jose, it's in that sort of area, I think, of California. Again, sold at a Chevron store at a Chevron station.
Doesn't the gas station get like $1 million?
Yeah,
$1 million for
Jesus
selling the
Christ.
winning number. So
And is that the only benefit? Like, I always wonder, do the gas stations, because there's a lot of dough coming in there, do they get a cut of each ticket sold? Or do they have to pay to be a part of it? Or is it just like, hey, you guys could win too?
I guess because you can see it both ways. On one hand,
They have
you
to get
feel
paid.
like they get paid because they're distributing the tickets. On the other
Right.
hand,
They should get
I can easily say, look, somebody's going to walk in and buy a Mountain Dew they wouldn't normally have because we have the Powerball at $400 million.
I say
so
if these gas
you might
stations
want it.
aren't getting paid to do this and they're doing
Right.
taking all this time, then they should all revolt, start a union.
Exactly. No,
We're
and
not
what I
carrying
wonder
you.
about
We
is the
want
$1
a
million.
piece, son.
If this is a franchised place, does that go to the franchise holder or does it go to Chevron?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Probably goes to the franchise. Whoever has
No, I think it
owns
goes-
the contract
Yeah.
of that store.
Right.
Because a lot of those are independent. Like because the gas is Chevron, but I think that the stores typically are that person's
Oh,
investment.
I see.
Right. Okay.
I think because I don't think they make any money off of the gas. Same thing with the Powerball thing. It's like, you do the gas, we'll make all the money, and they'll bring
No,
them
the
into
gas
the
is the way
convenience
to
store,
get
yeah.
you. And while you're filling up, you walk in and buy a hot dog.
And I'm
Delicious
completely
Chevron.
guessing right now. I have
Chevron
zero
hot
facts
dogs
to
are the
back
best.
this up.
Who cares about facts? This
Not
is,
me.
This is an entertainment show where we talk about topics. We don't have to be factual. We just have to be interesting. That's all that matters.
You can
say
look up-
whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, right.
Except, don't tell me that spaceships have landed on the Earth. That's the one thing I will not have. I will
You just
not-
said you don't like facts. You said
I don't
okay,
like- yeah,
perfect.
exactly.
No facts.
So there you go. You didn't win. Are you okay? You
I
gonna
won
be all right?
Yeah, you won- how much?
You won
How much did you spend?
$7.
16. Not a big
Okay,
deal.
All right, so you recouped
You know what?
almost half of
$16 was great for 4 or 5 days of hope. I
That's
bought
right.
myself a nice hope.
it. And now they're crushed once again.
We didn't talk about this, but I want to bring it up because I've been thinking about it. You know, we were talking about panic attacks yesterday.
Yeah.
As soon as I left here, I had a panic attack until I woke up this morning.
What?
No.
I don't know, man. My blood pressure was off. I felt like my heart was in my throat, my rhythm of my heart was off, and I was freaking out all day.
Didn't you do a show yesterday?
I had 2 auditions. I had 2 shows. You know, I
Did it
was
affect
freaking
anything,
out.
or you just worked through the
No, I
panic
barreled
attack?
through it because I'm a professional. But like,
Yeah.
I was panicking. Like I thought I was having a heart attack all day.
Something going on in your life right now?
You know,
You're feeling weird about being part of this show?
No,
or something
I was
upsetting you? or-
freebasing heroin, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
that was
There
part.
could
No,
be a
I don't know.
connection. There
Yeah, you
could be a
can't
been
mix
eating
the
healthy.
uppers and the downers.
Here's what the problem was. I hadn't been drinking for a while.
Right.
And then, not last night, but the night before, I was at Smith's, and I
drank?
I was there, a lovely young ladies, let's
Yes.
say.
That was
There
Jaeger
was a
night.
lot of girls there. And so,
Yeah.
you know, you always buy drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was doing Jaeger. I was doing...
Yeah.
When I came hungover, and I don't think my body was ready for that.
Right.
Because I hadn't been. And then I also, I was like, oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I should face plant into a pound of tater tots and sliders.
Of course.
Then I went to sleep immediately. You know, I don't know. I'm
Michael,
fine.
I think
I'm
have
fine
you ever,
today,
have you ever
though.
gone to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or someone like that? I mean, I think that you
No,
might have some.
I use a microphone.
No, I understand that. I think that's fantastic, but you know,
No, that's my therapy.
and that works. That's as long as you get laughs,
Here's
but
the
I
thing.
mean,
I've been to the doctor many times. I've been to the ER for that same
no, I'm not
problem
talking
that I had.
physical. I'm talking mental.
No, I don't think I want to.
A lot of times,
I don't think I'm ready to face whatever the doctor has
Are you
to
having
tell me.
wild dreams at all?
No, nothing
He has
too
no
crazy.
dreams. There's nothing left.
The Powerball stripped
That's
all
right.
dreams
Anymore.
away.
It's empty now.
And then I convinced myself my left arm is hurting. I don't know.
Oh no, because you heard somewhere that if you're having a heart attack,
That's a real
you're like,
thing.
no,
That's a
I
real
mean,
thing.
of course it's a real
Yeah.
thing, but
Yeah, immediately.
But then anything when you have starting a panic attack, you think, oh, that must be a heart attack, and it's the end of my life.
Yeah.
It makes me think that you were just hungover yesterday, and instead of listening to your body, you just continued to try and live without being
No,
hungover.
because I went home and after the show and my audition, I went to sleep, took a little nappy.
Yeah.
I ate great yesterday. I had salad with no dressing. I had
Gross.
some great juice. I had a banana. I had I ate really good yesterday. And
hungry.
I don't know. Just I'm starving right now.
I have a bar. You wanna
How
share
did
a
your
bar?
auditions go? I appreciate the fact that you could keep on barreling through, even though you
it
basically
was
thought
a
you were
callback
dying.
for something. I can't.
You don't have to mention it,
was-
but I
I thought
mean-
it was all right. But it's one of those things. You go into a million things, and my buddy Ron, I always see at he's a really funny actor, and he was there, and
Yeah.
we always
Did you
get-
tell
we
him on
always
the
get
side?
something.
I'm freaking out.
I think I might have brought it up. It's easier. I talked to my dad for like an hour. I just called him, and here's the great part. Here's the silver lining. These jeans I'm wearing right now, these Levi's 514s. If anybody wants to buy me some Levi's black Slim Straight 514s, please do.
Fat man skinny jeans.
Sure, they're just jeans, but I'm a fat man, so they become skinny.
Skinny jeans. That saves you money.
So I was trying to just keep my mind occupied. So I walked into a Marshall's. Can't find these jeans anywhere. Found them on Amazon. It was like the only pair I could find. It's like $75. It's like I need a pair of jeans. So I hate paying money for jeans. Walk into Marshall's, 3 pair of jeans of these sitting there my size. Bought all 3 of them.
Nice.
And Michael,
And $75 for 3 pairs. And then when I got home, 4th pair, the one from Amazon showed up, and now I have 5 pairs of the exact same jeans.
They're all black?
And I'm not returning a goddamn one of them.
You think it's bad that I wore this shirt 2 days in a row? These jeans. It's probably
know.
been a
Yeah,
week and a
forget it.
half.
Oh.
Week
all
and
the
a half.
jeans. No, you've always been like that since I've known you. I think you've owned 3 pair of jeans. It's always freaked me out. You wear the same jeans.
Have I smelled? Have I ever smelled?
No, you're not a smelly person. But I mean, you. I think it's weird to wear the same clothes. Don't you feel dingy after a couple of days having the same
No,
pants on?
I won't lie that putting on a fresh pair of jeans, you can notice a difference.
Yeah.
You feel it, but
Yeah, you feel
I don't really
more,
know.
I don't
they
know what
just-
I'm missing out
to
on
me,
right now until I
they
put
don't-
on that new pair.
They don't feel any different. They just feel like tighter.
but they feel like I'm ready for the new day.
No,
that's how I feel. I feel like if you're going to start a new day, you want
I don't have a washer dryer.
number 1 underwear and t-shirt.
Oh, underwear. You just
Those
turn those inside
change.
out.
Underwear
Way.
and t-shirt, those change.
Okay, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's a good, fresh, laundered underwear and t-shirt. I'm ready to go.
When you wear the same clothes and you keep your house dirty, for me at least, I become like a dirty person. But when I clean and wash and dry, I wake up with a British accent.
Yeah.
I feel real proper
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
enthusiastic.
And
about
you feel
things.
like I'm going to do this all the time, and it
Yeah.
kind of goes away.
No.
It's like when you buy a new car. I'm never going to let this car get dirty, and then 3 weeks later, it looks like your old car.
If my clothes say dry clean only, then they are always dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They're never clean.
I would buy less dry clean only clothes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I don't know if
the
any.
way
I don't know if any of my hoodies say dry clean only because that's pretty much what I wear.
Also, like
Those
our,
never get washed. Hoodies. I've gone a year with the
forget it.
same
Yeah.
hoodie.
Oh, that's disgusting too, because it's over your hair and.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes.
Nobody else is wearing it, right? Who cares?
Well, I mean, but smells can.
I wear it every there's times in the cooler weather, so spring and fall when it's not too hot but not too cold and you need something else. The hoodie will be worn and almost every day for
Yeah.
2 months. And you're wearing it outside of other clothes, but
Yeah, but if you're wearing the same shirt
It's
as yesterday
filthy.
underneath it,
it's
then
filthy.
Then you got
I
layers of filth.
Our laundry is like all of Travis's clothes that ever existed,
Mm-hmm.
and just like 5 things of mine because I wear stuff over and over again.
That's disgusting.
It's not too bad.
You should clean.
I
Laundering
don't
is part
smell.
of being civilized.
I don't smell bad.
You don't smell, but I mean, I think laundering is important. You'd be walking around. You could have smallpox attached to you. You don't know. You
Smells
launder
like deodorant.
yourself.
The whole
What
world's
else?
filthy. No, this carpet in here.
Well, no, this carpet. I did not. This carpet is disgusting. I am sure that there's some sort of spores in this room.
And there's feces everywhere.
Black mold.
Everywhere. You
That's
can't
true.
escape
Yeah.
it.
Do you
So,
Our
at
phones
that
are
point-
supposed to be covered.
And they
in
probably
poop.
are. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
You're
absolutely.
eating
You take 'em in
every
the
time you have a
You
bathroom.
take them into the
conversation.
bathroom. You're sitting there. You're going through your thing. You wipe your hindquarters, and then you go back to blah 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 blah.
Hindquarters?
You don't
My
even think about it.
hindquarters?
I didn't want to. I want to class the show up a little bit. We've been
The
swearing
hindquarters.
way too much.
hindquarters.
I got
Have
radio
you been watching
people
Downton
listening.
Abbey a lot? You masterpiece theater,
You masturbator
short
theater.
brimmed hat wearing.
I wore this hat for you because I know you love it.
Let's talk about Patreon.
Well, let's do
hindquarters.
The hindquarters of Patreon.
Shall we do more news?
Let's do another story.
Maybe
Then
that's
we're
my
gonna- Don't do
Stewie
the Pussy
impression.
Riot story because we're going to have Jay Busby on about the Olympics.
Never. I'm not
And,
ever going to do that story.
You don't like the word pussy. That's why.
Pussy
I got to give it to
Riot.
Pussy Riot. They've at least made
No,
it.
don't talk about it.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about it, but they've made it to where in mainstream news the word pussy is thrown around all the time. And you see these anchors, well, Pussy Riot was.
See, what if there was a group called N-word something?
There
Well, there was.
N-word computers.
There was.
How
What,
about,
NWA?
how about when
NWA?
Imus, who is a boob in general, but
I don't know, he's not as bad.
I
as-
like
yeah.
Imus just as much as anybody, but he had the nappy-headed hose thing.
Yeah.
And he said it as a joke,
Yes.
and then he got just completely railed for it. But then every single news outlet would
Was
just
allowed to
nappy-headed
Oh,
hose.
no, over
nappy-headed
and over
hose.
again. No, that Imus thing drove me crazy.
Just don't
I mean,
apologize,
I'm
man.
neutral on Imus. I'm not a
Don't
huge fan. I'm not
apologize.
against him, whatever. But that one that drove me crazy. Nobody on that Rutgers basketball team heard that comment when he said it.
Absolutely
They heard
not.
it because
Nobody gives a
CNN
shit.
called them and played it over and over and over. It was, so it was
How do you feel?
really.
How do you feel now? Let me play it 4 more times.
And here you are in your 40 years of career. There's 12 seconds of radio. We've decided we think we should take
the
you off
problem
the
is
air.
the
40
advertisers,
years.
just the stupid these panty
Problem is
wastes.
CNN. Problem is CNN.
No,
Fox
CNN doesn't
News,
care what you do as long as the people that are
MSNBC.
cutting them checks don't give a shit.
I know, but they're the ones that raise it to the level that the advertiser has to get involved. By now it's a thing because CNN is playing it over and over and over again. Anyway, I've been harmed by that. Give me one more story, and then we'll call Jay Busby. We'll talk about the Olympics, and for a race fan such as me, it's a great day. The Daytona
Like a fan of other
Twin-
races.
I'm a fan
Race
of all
fan.
races, and the Daytona Twin 150s today, and other stuff. So give me one more story that's not sports.
Well, do you want to talk about the universe, or do you want to talk
No,
about
we've done-
C-sections?
Let's talk. There's too many C-sections going on, apparently.
We don't have enough
There
time to
are.
debate why Eric's wrong about the universe. So
we
let's go.
need more vaginal entry into this world. Is
That's
that
just
not
another
That's
correct?
true. We do need more vaginal entry into this world.
You know what? Me and Greg are going to work on that tonight. We're
Yeah.
going out. We're going to get as much vaginal entry as we can.
Vaginal entry, vaginal exit,
High five.
entry again.
Boom. Right
The
top.
way you guys are doing it, you're using the vagina as an exit from the world. I'm talking about using the vagina as an entrance into the
No,
world.
the other way.
That's what we were talking about.
They want to use it as an entrance. You want it to be used as an exit.
Oh, maybe I've got
Into
that
the,
wrong.
exit into
It's-
the
it
world?
depends which way you're going.
Ooh.
We
What is
use
I'm
whiskey
saying
to
the
get
vagina
that.
as an entrance into the world.
Right.
They're using it as an exit to fantasy escape.
Okay.
This has gotten weirder by the second.
I'm sticking with my vaginal analogies.
So, people are calling for less C-sections in a bid to reduce rates of cesarean sections.
40% of the babies born in Alaska
Wait,
are
you're
born
jumping
through C-section.
way
I know.
ahead
Go
here.
ahead. I'm just
It's
bouncing
cold
stuff
there.
at you.
That's all right.
When it's cold, things don't stretch as much.
No. So in C-sections are used in 22% of births in Alaska, but in Kentucky it's 40%.
40 in Kentucky.
Yeah, so it's this it's varying throughout the country and throughout the world. So it is kind of strange that in the United States that the C-section rates have climbed to 60% in the past 15 years.
Because women,
Vanity purpose.
Not just
Vanity.
women, not just women.
men
Oh,
are,
men are
men are having
good
it done as well.
C-sections?
This really get that breaking news sound. This really, men are having too many C-sections.
No, I'm saying it's not just pregnant women that want C-sections.
It's the doctors.
It's doctors.
And why? Because they're afraid of the lawyers. They're being overly cautious because if the baby's a little turned,
Okay, so
there's a matter of time that goes on, and if it takes too long, if labor takes too long, boom, they go for the C-section.
So the problem is, who is saying how long labor should be? It's doctors combined with the hospitals combined with lawyers.
Right.
So doctors aren't
they're afraid of the lawyers.
always 100% concerned with just the woman and just the baby. They are also worrying about being sued by the mother
Right.
or the parents, or
Right.
if something could happen.
And if a baby's breached and they don't do
And that's another
seen
thing.
as
So-
everything that was needed to be done.
Right.
You know, because I have relatives who are breached. It can really, you know, I have one relative who can kind of barely use his right arm because of the way that he was born.
Right.
He was breached.
So a breech baby also, doctors and nurses aren't just, it's not a slight against them. They're not trained to use their hands as
Right.
much. They're trained to use equipment and statistics
you
and
sound like a hippie now, but go ahead.
no, but this is
They're
this
afraid
is
of the
true.
lawyers. They know what to do.
No, but hold on. So a lot of times, if a baby is breech, then a midwife who is trained.
Oh, here we go.
Well, don't say here we go. A midwife who is just more trained to use their hands and less with equipment. Maybe that's to a fault sometimes.
And they stick their hands up the vagina.
Yeah, they just like
rip the
squish it
child
around.
out.
No, that you can turn a baby from the outside.
Right.
And that can be done.
It's a possibility. It's
But
not
doctors don't do it because
Right.
and so that's the thing is that people will come out against, like you're trying to make me sound like oh,
You're
oh,
against
here
doctors.
we go. No, and it's not like that.
Right.
They just aren't trained to do it. That's just
Right.
not the way that they're
But
trained anymore.
also, if they did try that and it's still the
Then
baby was
then
born
of
breech.
course, C-section.
No,
it.
I'm saying is if they did do it that way and something went wrong, they become more liable because they did this procedure that didn't work. You know, doctors can't win. A doctor, for the most part, who delivers babies delivers 9 billion of them in their career. You know, I mean, they're constantly delivering babies more than the number
Are
of
you
people
being
on the
sarcastic?
planet. I think I may have been a little
He's being
hyperbolic
literal.
with that number.
That's literal.
That's figuratively literal. But they deliver a lot of babies. They know what to do. They see it all the time. Usually they know what to do. And when they do the C-section, because you don't get sued. But it turns out it can, if it can hurt the women. Don't
Yeah.
women lose they're more likely to die.
Yeah, the death rate is more than 3 times higher in mothers who undergo C-sections, 13 deaths per 100,000 women, than those who deliver vaginally.
Yeah.
So
The old-fashioned way.
the traditional.
We deliver our babies vaginally.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, there are swings in belief throughout history on what was appropriate, and
Isn't the natural thing obviously appropriate? I mean, I might be able to invent a way to poop out of my ear, but it's not the natural way. The way that it's just been done.
Well, this is what I
mean,
is-
you poop babies out. That's basically what
this
happens.
is the analogy that I say is
Yeah.
like, well, what if, okay, so it's been too long since you've pooped.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make you poop.
Yeah.
Okay, now go upstairs and there are going to be 3 doctors or 3 people that come in the room every 30 minutes and they're going to stick their fingers up your butt and they're going to say,
wow. Ugh.
they're going to say, okay, are you
Do you have a
pooping
nicer
yet?
way to put that?
Yeah, this
They're
is what
going to
happens.
Probe your
this
backside.
is what happens in a hospital if
Yeah.
you are being induced.
Yeah.
You are nervous,
Yeah.
right? There are people just shoving their hands inside of you, and they're gonna say like, "Are you pooped yet? How you feeling? You gonna
Right.
poop yet? Let's give you some more medicine to relax your anus." Like,
Well, are there
can't
websites where I can see
relax.
this? I
Is
might
anybody else
actually
getting
enjoy
horny
it.
right now?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was just
this
thinking
is
about
actually-
the poop C-section when it doesn't come out, and then they
Call it the
All right,
P.
Are you
Call
going-
it
It's time to.
Call it the P section.
Are you going C? Or are you going?
No.
You going C? You
Oh,
going
no,
V?
no, she's going all natural.
I'm gonna try and go
She's
as
all
natural as
hippie.
possible.
She doesn't want any.
That
she
ain't
doesn't,
hippie. You got to get in a bath to do that. to
so
go
that
hippie
listen, so
style.
don't
Right,
call
no,
it
with the
don't
husband
call it
in there.
hippie.
It's. I already did. She's,
It's not a hippie.
She's refusing to get the spinal tap,
Okay, first hold on.
and that's ridiculous. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not
Go
saying
ahead.
it's.
I don't want you to cry. I know you're pregnant.
I know. It's fine.
Go ahead.
No.
You
So
think-
first
You're
of
gonna get
all,
a present after this.
first of all, it's not hippie. You were saying just now that you agreed. You're like, isn't the natural way make more sense?
Yeah, but I would do it
It
in
does.
a hospital.
No,
where
I'm doing
if
it
they're-
in a hospital.
I thought you told me you're doing it in like a midwife's room or something.
Midwife's room.
Going
No.
over to somebody's house with
Just over at the
incense.
motor
and
No,
lodge.
I have Kaiser Permanente, and I will be
dreadlock woman with
at Northside Hospital. But I mean, Northside. I'm gonna be on the North Side. But no, I'm gonna I have a doula. There's some information
that?
here about doulas.
What's a doula?
A doula is like
Is that the character Whoopi Goldberg played in Star Trek? Doula?
gyna.
Sounds more like someone that's appropriate for the job, like gyna.
That's true. Yeah. So a doula is someone who.
You have to look it up. You have one. You don't
No,
even
I
know
was
what it
going to
is.
look and see if it was in the story. A doula is somebody who's going to sort of advocate for you, which is a huge word in the.
Oh, God. To who?
What
The
does that mean?
doctor?
Say, oh
They're
my
gonna
God, about what?
advocate for you? Why do you need an advocate?
Because doctors and nurses and the hospital are going to have a certain procedure that they expect you
That
to
they-
go.
Right, because they know that this is the proper one. It's
No.
the healthiest one. It's best for everyone involved.
But
What a silly way to think.
everyone is different. Your poop schedule, the way that you poop,
Can
is
you
going to be
stop
different.
talking about my poop?
Well, I'm feeling like this is the only way that I can like.
Scatological. You're taking
the
this,
name
you're
of Eric's
doing-
new book.
You're it's dragging this show down into the gutter. With
Why?
Your,
Oh,
with
for
your
the poop.
Poop talk.
Okay.
Stop deflecting. Let her finish.
Yeah.
Stop
So,
defecate.
I
Or what's
forget
the
what my
word?
point was.
Your point.
Oh, the doula. Okay, so the procedure at a hospital is going to be different than maybe what you're allowed to have, right?
Right.
So they're gonna, for example, just in a small thing. So for example, they're gonna want you to put the baby in a bassinet after the baby's born, so you can. No, that's what I'm saying. This is not a big deal.
in the bassinet.
This is not a big deal.
Make
They
sure
want
you
you to-
lotion its
shocking me with
tiny,
this.
I know.
pale
They do
white
this
skin.
these days?
But if you want to take the baby with you in the bed and hold on to the baby, you can
Right.
do that. But they don't really give you that option. They just say, okay, we're going to take the baby now and do this. And a doula will say, no, you are allowed to request this.
Right.
Or they
But
can.
what do you care? Why wouldn't you leave it into the hands of the professionals to get you through that? This is the first time you've ever done it. It's the 9,000th time they've done it. Reason and logic says to me, let the people who do it all the time, they know
Right.
the ups, the downs, they know the best thing.
That's
I mean,
what I'm
I
saying.
remember
So
when
the best thing might be different.
Right.
Because the best thing is really not always the best
how
thing
does
for the mother or
doula
baby.
know what the best thing is? What's her? And I'm guessing it's a her because she's going to be an advocate for you. There's some
Yeah.
sort of feminist sociology underlining here. How do they know?
Don't
how do
put
they,
that on it like it's.
Oh, I
it's-
am.
yeah.
Oh, I am.
It's-
I
then that
guarantee
just
you.
makes you-
The doula is somebody who was going to teach sociology at a community college but just couldn't quite make it. So now they're the doula.
No, that
and
is
they're going
incorrect.
to advocate for you as if the doctor is your enemy and you need somebody as a go-between.
No.
I don't accept the premise.
It's not about the doctor being an enemy.
It's about the doctor not caring enough.
No, it is about the doctor not giving you as many options that you
So
maybe
work that
are
out
allowed to
beforehand with
have.
the doctor. Say, look, you know what? When
No,
the
but the
baby's
doctor
born,
isn't as concerned with how your birth is going to go and how your baby
Emotionally?
is going to be born. Maybe emotionally. I mean, there's a whole experience that's going on here.
Yeah.
And if the doctor is seeing this 1 billion times, right,
Yeah.
then they are going to be doing what they need to do to sometimes go home. Or
Okay.
sometimes not get sued. But
Right.
that doesn't mean that the thing that's going to happen because you
Let me
get
tell
sued
you
is
what
going to
happens.
happen.
Autumn, I've been there. There's several hours that you're in discomfort, and then the contractions come closer together. And as they come closer together, then more people start coming into the room because they recognize that you're crowning or whatever, and this is about to happen.
Yep.
And they come in, and you push a little bit. The baby is born. You look at the baby; it appears to be healthy, and in that moment, that's all you care about. The baby is healthy and wonderful, and you've just been through this hours-long experience, and they give you the baby for a second. They put the baby over and they take care of it, and they put the syringe in its nose and do all the things that need to be done. Those are important things that need to be done.
Sure.
And in my experience, we did it in Glendale, and I felt like both things were happening. They were
much?
being very efficient. They were being very efficient, and they were being very nice. But I mean, it wasn't as you can't expect it to be as big a deal for them as it is for you. It's not their place. They do it all the time. As long as they do it properly, that's all that matters.
No one is
the
trying to
baby's
make
I
healthy.
think it sounds like what Autumn's saying is there's the go-between is to balance it. Yes,
Right, to
you're
balance
you're
it.
approaching it, Eric, as a very mechanical process, and
Which it
that's the
is.
way the doctors
It's
probably
not
approach it
mechanical.
too. But it's a real experience for Autumn. So there's a person here to mediate that middle. I don't see what's wrong
What
with
do you
that.
want? Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes playing in the background? Look, I'm sure if you want to bring a
No.
boom box and play Yanni or whatever,
you bring
can
it
do
to the
you know?
extreme. You bring it to the extreme
I
so that I'm
am.
having to argue the extreme when I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing the middle. I'm saying I would like to have the doctor's expertise if there's something that's really going wrong. And of course I will listen to that. And I'm not saying that you said earlier, you're going to refuse to have an epidural. That is not true.
Right.
I am hoping to go as natural or as traditional as possible. And if I can do that, then I will. If something goes wrong, then I will be so grateful to be in a hospital and have modern medicine to give me a C-section or to save my life or to save a
When you
baby's
say
life.
natural, and we got to get to Jay Busby.
That's
and talk
why I'm
about-
saying traditional.
Okay,
because
but when you say that, what is it that's I mean, what is the purpose of that whole idea? Like, what if it's slightly unnatural? What is the downside? As long as the baby is healthy and everything's done, then mission accomplished. You can
Because-
put a banner on your aircraft carrier. Mission accomplished.
because sometimes this can happen when you get an epidural. You stop feeling your body, so you
Right.
stop responding to it. So then
they know how to deal
you
with it.
can't. I know they do. So you stop responding to your body. Okay. Then sometimes your contractions can plateau because you are no longer feeling what's happening anymore, and you're being placed on your back with
Right.
your legs in the air, which is not as conducive to birth. It's just amazingly easier for a
Autumn.
doctor and the nurse to see inside of
Autumn.
your vagina.
Autumn.
Yes.
They tell you, push. It doesn't matter if you feel it. They tell you,
Okay.
push. You're just taking instructions. They see where it is. They know what your contractions are doing. They tell
talking-
you what to
all
do. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm just saying that they tell you what to do, and I'm not going to push it anymore because I'm not going to make you cry
No,
about
I'm
your
fine.
birth.
No, I'm fine. No.
It's like I see that look in your eye. This is you're
No,
right.
but the problem is that
But what's-
you are unwavering, and
Yes,
that
I am.
and that you will not give in to any point
Let
that
me
I'm
ask-
making.
I was
Let me
taught a
ask Eric
long
this.
time ago that makes good radio.
What's
Don't give
wrong?
in. Don't give in.
What's wrong if she wants to go in and react?
Right.
Doesn't want the epidural at first, and then decides she needs it.
I
then
don't
gets
say
it.
you're using the word wrong. I just think that there's a whole industry that crops up that says the emotional part of this needs to be managed and handled, and it's an experience, and you want that experience to go right and for yourself and for your memories. But you know what? That's like taking too many pictures at Christmas. It's a control freak thing.
No,
it's just
no,
go
no,
in,
no.
let it happen. Trust the people that are around you that know what to do. They'll tell you when to push. They'll tell you how to do it. The dumbest people in the world give birth. You don't have to be all that intelligent to give birth. You just have to follow the instructions
You're
of the
talking
professionals
about
around you.
a birth that goes perfectly
Who's
well.
your doula? Who's your doula? Do you know who she is?
Yes.
Oh, can we get her on the air?
No,
Can we get her on the
I'm
show?
not putting her through.
Oh,
I'm not giving her
I'll be
to you.
nice to her. I'll be nice to her. I
Listen,
won't be
you're
mean to
talking
her.
about
I'll
a
be mean to you.
perfect birth. You're talking about the way, like,
Talk about the
everything's
average
going.
birth.
You're talking about the way, like, oh, everything's going well. Well, what if there's a little bit of a problem? There's going to be.
I want doctors there.
Of course. I'm just saying a little bit. So, for example, this doula, the reason why I wanted her immediately, like, I was like, I like her.
Yeah.
Because she was
She a
attending a
feminist
birth.
of some kind?
No, she is not a feminist of any kind.
Is she married?
I don't know.
She ever had a kid?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't give it now. Now he's just baiting you.
I know. So this is my last point.
Between birth and,
Baby
and
baiting.
gaming, Michael is just totally
I know, okay,
bored with this
let me
thing.
just
No, I'm not jumping in because I have nothing intelligent to say.
This
And,
one thing. So
I know when to shut
Neither
my
do
mouth.
the baby was breached.
Yeah, we can hear.
The baby was breached. The doctor said, well, let's prepare her for a C-section because the baby's breached, right?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Okay, you don't want to get sued.
And she said, let me have an hour. Give me an hour. And she positioned the baby. She moved the baby from the outside. And the baby was born vaginally. So not only did the mother get to have this more traditional birth, she didn't have to have a C-section, which is major surgery. So so after the C-section, they take the baby away for 45 minutes while you're getting sewn up. You don't get to see, you see
Right.
the baby for a minute. And then the whole experience is different. She can't pick up the baby for a certain amount
I
of
get
time.
your point.
You're hobbling around your house.
I got you.
have to recover from a C-section. There's a whole different experience there.
The whole
And
thing about
I
the
would
baby
rather
being
have
taken away?
the traditional birth.
Okay, look at you. I see you're getting very emotional.
No, I don't. I'm just defending my point.
This whole idea of the baby is away from you when it's born, you're going to be responsible for that little creature for 18 years. You're going to get an ass full of that baby.
Do you know what happens?
The fact that you're not together for 30 minutes in the first hour.
Do you know what happens after
important.
the baby is born? What you
I was
should
there.
do?
I was there. I saw it all happen.
Right.
You know,
But do you know the
produced
mechanics?
a 16-year-old who watches Pokemon bang against a wall for an hour.
You're right. I mean, I know that none of this, well, like, no matter what happens, I'm talking about having this traditional experience,
Right.
okay? And if none of that happens, it's not like I'm going to love my baby any less. My baby's not going to be an idiot. If I
Right.
can't breastfeed for some reason,
Right.
then nothing is ruined. But I would like it to be natural.
Okay, I'm with you.
Just like when
If you ain't
poop.
a vagina baby, you get the hell out of my goddamn house, you working sack of shit.
I'm not arguing for more C-sections. I think there's probably way too many of them. I think
Right.
a lot of them are done out of vanity.
So the reason why there are too many, right, is because there is not a balance right now in the medical field.
Autumn?
Yes,
Stop arguing your point, because we all know when women argue the point, it's driven out of emotion. There's no logic right now.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's all
Right.
emotional.
So
That's
Eric-
true. You do
Eric's
keep
the man.
calling me out on
He's
emotion.
smart.
I'm not emotional.
He's smart. He has no feelings. He knows how to
right.
She
approach a
hasn't cried
topic.
once, so
It's
I
all-
applaud you for that.
it's all logic.
You know, because
so,
all girls cry for no reason.
Especially pregnant girls. Yes! The news is over!
hit me with your signature close.
That was our take on the news. If you want more stories that we might not have gotten to, then check us out on ericvonradio.com. You can find everything on ericvonradio.com.
Can I do this? I
That's-
feel
oh,
like
yeah.
this is a good segue.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Can I get
Is Jay up? Are you getting Jay
Oh,
online?
do we need Jay?
We'll
I
get to him in a
Jay's
second.
on. Jay's been
We could-
listening for the past
Poor
12 minutes
Jay.
and
Sorry,
46
Jay.
seconds.
I got this. Speaking of, I got her a birthday. What do you call it? Not birthday. I guess that makes sense. Birthday
It actually is the
for
birthday.
her baby. Sorry, it keeps falling on me.
It would be a
Shower present?
shower
Yeah,
present.
sure. Why not?
Something.
She's gonna have a kid, so here you go.
Yeah.
She kind of knew what it was.
Oh.
Can you pull it up? Can you look up
Rockabye Baby?
Rockabye Baby.
Well, for music, for sound.
Yeah,
or
It's
whatever.
the-
Rockabye Baby. Do
you wanna explain what it is?
Yeah, this is cool. I found this for my sister, and now I'm a fan. I don't know. I never thought I'd be a fan of baby things, but there's a
Is there a
series.
specific song?
You can pick any one of them. It don't matter. But one by the Beatles. So that somebody makes these like lullaby versions of popular music.
Right.
that
And
you
is
play
this
for
Yellow
your kids.
Submarine or something
Well,
like
no,
that?
this is just they're all different. They got a bunch for the Beatles, but I got my sister one for the Smashing Pumpkins, because she's a
Oh.
huge Pumpkins fan, and she's got.
So you
kids.
take your favorite rock bands and stuff, and you have
And they
lullaby
lullabies
kind of right.
versions
Yeah,
for it,
yeah.
And she's a Beatles fan, so I was like, oh, that'd be good.
No, that's
I'm a huge fan of
fantastic.
it, so.
So these are all Beatles songs.
you
Oh,
can
this
play
isn't a
with your-
Beatles. I didn't find the Beatles one.
Which one is this?
Don't Stop Believing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Journey? Let's hear.
Good night, everybody.
What's that?
It's like
Frog.
a baby.
That was a frog.
That would be funny if you sang to your baby this song like in a really sweet way, like just a small
This is Autumn's voice. Autumn has a nice voice.
Oh,
Sing
thanks.
along.
Jay Busby's going to hang up.
Poor Jay.
I
Let's
know.
talk to Jay.
Let's talk to Jay. We'll get back
Thank
to
you so
this in a
much.
moment.
You're
That's amazing.
welcome.
Thank you.
Do we want the sports music?
Yes. No, we don't need. No, he's
It's
our
a
special
CD, by the way.
correspondent.
Do you got one of them
Okay.
old CD players? You stick it's like a disc. You put it in your.
I have a traditional house. I don't have
That's
CDs.
right. Yeah,
She
she's not
gives-
giving a digital
she
birth.
gives vaginal birth, compact discs,
Does this come in
and she owns people.
Vodafone or something?
Mixtape. Jay Busby from Yahoo Sports. I'm sorry that we had you hanging out there for 15 minutes.
Not a problem. You were bringing back good memories of my own time when my kids were born over at Northside. I hung out at the McDonald's and
All right.
stayed as far away from that mess as I could.
Yeah, from the action as you could, and
These
it all worked
actually
out,
means
right?
The
You're-
literal mess.
Did you have a doula?
I don't know. I got to go back and check the hospital bills and see if I paid for one. I don't believe so.
think
But
so
yeah,
it is
we did have the
possible.
doctor miss both of our births because the doctor was in traffic both times.
Oh, really? So it turns out they just pull a janitor in to do the actual birth. It's not that difficult.
I think
to do.
that's what it was. I think it was just some guy with a mop bucket and he went to town.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is I think it's wonderful what Autumn is doing, and I seem like I'm against her. I'm not against her. I like to prod her about it. But babies are born in taxi cabs and delivered by taxi cab drivers
Naturally.
every day.
No medicine.
No
She got you there.
Yeah, I guess I did kind of argue against myself. Hey, before we get to the medal count and everything going on with the Olympics, how about that Pussy Riot, huh? Was that something? This Pussy Riot.
Yes.
So they were let out of prison because they let a bunch of people out of prison before the Olympics as a goodwill gesture. And so they've shown up at the Olympics, and yesterday they found themselves being whipped by Cossacks.
Yes, it was a strange scene. If you haven't seen the video, it will, all joking aside, kind of really hit home how easy we have it here in America because
Yes.
it's astonishing. They're making their point, they're setting up, they're starting to scream, and they get pepper sprayed and whipped, literally whipped right off the bat by these crazy ass Cossacks who come in.
I have a little hold on. I have a little audio here. So
Go
this
ahead.
is what they're chanting is they're doing a performance that says Putin will teach you how to love the homeland or the motherland or something like that. So this is they're,
Под надзором средства оружия, допы и ментов, ФСБ, аргументы, МВД, аргумент.
You're saying don't do drugs.
Аплодисменты!
So then these Cossacks, which I didn't even know we still had Cossacks. Cossacks are like our cavalry, aren't they? Aren't they like people they're like soldiers on horses?
Well, they were. I mean, they have a tangled history with the greater Russian government. But basically, at this point, they've gone back and forth, and I think the Russian government now has decided that it's the old line about better to have them inside the tent pissing
Right.
out than outside pissing in, and so now they're kind of a freelance security force, and the Russian police just basically turned them loose, and you saw what happened.
So
It was
it's like
a mess.
it's like when the Stones had the Hell's Angels do the
Exactly.
security
That's
at Altamont. I think Pussy Riot. I think these girls are rather silly, but then for the idiocy of these Cossacks, if you haven't seen this video, they're literally whipping. You hear it here. Whipped in Sochi in public at the Olympics.
Yeah. And what's strange is I wrote the story on that yesterday, wrote up off the AP reports, and I'm seeing comments and getting emails from people saying, I don't necessarily agree with everything that Putin does, but he's better than Obama. He's got things running straight over there. And it's like, think about what you're saying here.
Yeah.
You're saying that you prefer it in Russia over here. I mean, it's just interesting how people view that.
I think it's a confederacy of dunces. I think that these girls, I knew girls like this. These are art school feminist protesting girls. By the time they're 35, they always marry a doctor and think they were stupid when they were 20. But this is what I'm saying is there's nothing new about their protest. This is art school girl protest, feminist protest, and it's laughable to a certain degree. On the other hand, they really got their point across if they were trying to say we're beginning to live in a totalitarian state, and Cossacks show up
To beat them, yeah,
another
exactly.
bunch of idiots to start whipping them. I mean, it really was quite a strange scene. Do we have any Pussy Riot? One thing I do like about Pussy Riot is that that they can't they've made it so that the word pussy is now okay in mainstream media in America on our news and things like that. You can't play it or else it'll kill Jay Busby. Is that
Yeah,
what
they're
you're
on the
saying?
same channel. If you have your computer, you can pull some up.
Okay. It's
Play it off of
so
yours.
Jay, tell me who the what are we doing in the? I watched Ted Ligety last night. I saw him win gold.
Ted Ligety. Yes.
And that was what was the exact event I was watching there? Slalom or what was
Right,
it?
right. Yeah, he was the giant slalom last night, and he's one of the high points for America. We've got a few more. Obviously, the big one today is the women's gold medal ice hockey, which starts off at noon. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You've got the ice dance, the free skating, which is going on right now. So as I'm talking to you, I'm looking at terrified 15-year-olds spinning around on the ice over in Sochi. So it's we're starting to get down to the last few days here, and this is where the big ticket events are.
And so I want to ask you about the Ted Ligety thing. So I'm watching Ted Ligety, and he wins, right? And he, does NBC? Are they really showing us the order that these guys are skiing? Because I thought it was all pretty wonderfully dramatic. It seemed to me that Ted Ligety was the last guy to ski, and he won the gold medal. Now, do they play with that so that the drama is presented in its best way to us at home? Was he really the last one to ski, and he won the gold medal?
He was, yes. And
Okay.
it was the same thing with Shaun White about a week or so ago when he had the chance to go and win the gold medal. It has to do with how they skied initially and then they reseed them. It's different for different sports, and I honestly don't know how this one was set up. But NBC was not monkeying with the order because they did that a few years back and they just got barbecued for it. So,
I don't know why. I think it's fine too.
Yeah, it's all story. It's like we talked about before. This is all story. It's not about for us, for the viewer. It's not about athletic competition. It's about the story, and so
I mean, it wouldn't. I guess that they know how to do this to heighten the drama within the event in the way that they're putting people out there, and so that's smart. But even if it wasn't that way, I would rather NBC present it that way. Who wants to see him win gold and then watch 8 other skiers that don't mean anything? So I mean, it works out. It works out.
Yeah,
I think
you got to watch him. Keep the camera on him and see if he breaks down or see what happens there.
I think I have some Pussy Riot here. This is a video called "Putin Lights Up the Fires." I like it. And this is what you get at the end of it. Being whipped by Cossacks. I never thought I'd be whipped by Cossacks.
Does the music suck? Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know that it does. I like the guitars.
First of all, speak in English. I can't understand a goddamn word.
I got what the hell.
However, good for them for speaking up. You know, it's insane that you can't. I don't know. I feel like Eric's going to try to throw hot coals at me for saying that. I feel like you should be able to say whatever you want, whenever you want, to whoever you want, without fear of your government coming down and beating the shit out of you.
You take me as being a Putin. I would
say Putin-esque.
No, I think that the proper response to these girls is, oh, good point, but a little bit hackneyed. I don't think that they should be beaten by Cossacks because they're stupid.
That they have to act that way in order to get their point across, and it has to be. And what else is insane is that like the government and whoever, like the people that are like beating them, everybody's watching it and they're still doing it.
No, I know.
It's
they feel righteous, right? They feel like these
well,
people are causing a problem.
First of all, we don't know when you're inside of Russia, right? I mean, we don't know how people may look at Pussy Riot in Russia the way that a lot of people look at some of the actors that go and hang out with Fidel Castro here. I don't know what their internal politics is necessarily, how many Russians are for them or against them, but certainly they should, at the very least, be allowed to, if you feel they're acting like fools, they should be allowed to act like fools. They shouldn't be whipped for it.
They all got released from prison, right?
They got
originally.
Released, they got
like
released,
back when this first thing happened.
Well, no, but one of them got released relatively early. The other 2 were kept, and then right before the Olympics, Putin let a few people out of prison that were high profile as a goodwill gesture and to get pressure off of his back before the Olympics came.
And also all of Pussy Riot got out of jail.
So they all got out of jail before that. They immediately headed to Sochi to begin to protest, which, in America is their right, and I don't know what the Russian Constitution says. But anyway.
They don't have one.
Yeah, I don't think.
I believe they do. They do have one because Putin had to do that thing where he wasn't president for 4 years. So he had to stay in line with the Constitution in order to abridge the Constitution in a strange way. But all that matters is, are we beating the Ruskies at the medal count?
At the moment, I believe we are. Yeah, I was going to say my favorite line about this, and I wish I knew who said it because I would claim it, is that I just love is that the fact that Putin's greatest enemy is a punk rock group. It would be like Jimmy Carter fighting the Ramones in 1978. So
I remember
it's just
that fight.
So ridiculous.
I remember Ramones v. Carter. I think it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Yeah, and so today the American women in hockey will face the Canadians, and then the men go, right? So
the men will go. Yeah, the men will play later on tomorrow, starting tomorrow. They're in the Final Four, as it were, and then their gold medal game isn't until Sunday. So we've got that to look forward to. But the big game today is the American women versus the Canadian women, and these women. I mean, I don't know if they don't hate each other, they're doing a good impression of it because there's a lot of really good trash talk, which you would not expect, but it's there.
I can't remember the details, but there was a big mix-em-up between these two teams in the last Winter Olympics, I believe, and it ended with a lot of bad blood. Right. And so they're bringing that back into this one.
They were on their periods.
That's right. Women. President Obama actually spoke to the issue.
We are going to have both the men's hockey teams and the women's hockey teams battling it out. So for a very brief period of time, I may not feel as warm towards Canadians as I normally do.
Some of the thunder has been taken out of the men. We thought that the U.S. and the Russians were going to meet each other again in the gold medal round, and the Russians lost. And here's one of the Russian players.
It sucks.
That's all he had to say.
What I can say.
That's all I could say. How do you say it sucks in Russian?
It sucks. What I can say.
He's an NHL player. Alex
Ovechkin.
Yeah. Who does he play for in NHL?
He's with the Caps.
Okay.
Eto odstoj.
What's that?
Eto odstoi.
Is that how you say it?
It sucks in Russian.
Look at that, our grammarition. We're running late here, Jay. So what are we looking? So today, does that when do the women play today?
The women play at noon today, and I think it's actually on Real NBC, so people will be able to watch it if they so desire. It's live all over the country.
This has been a little bit of my. I understand NBC leaving the good stuff for prime time, and I would do that sort of thing. But I've been a little let down this time around. I feel like in the Summer Olympics, it's just always on.
Right.
I feel like at 10 o'clock in the morning, I should be able to turn on NBC and see whatever's going on at the Olympics. And it kind of annoys me that it's Judge Joe Brown or whatever, and they're doing their normal programming. Just it should just be on. It should just be on, I think.
It's on all their ancillary networks, but I mean, it's it's like the old bit about MASH reruns outdoing everything else. Those syndicated programs just
kill you,
blow everybody away. Yeah, exactly.
I guess you're good. And if I can say that as somebody watching, but if I was running the network, I would do exactly the same thing because I would lose too much revenue showing curling at 10 a.m. I suppose.
Exactly.
Because there's not many people like me who want to watch it.
I think everybody wants to watch curling.
How many more days are left?
Not many. It wraps up on Sunday. So, just 3 or 4 more days left, and we're almost there, almost done.
And then Daytona. I'm going to go a couple minutes longer, Greg, because today is a big day for race fans like me, because we get the twin 150s. This is 2 150-mile races at Daytona. Oh, knock it off. Now, come on.
No, that was the sound of those motors starting.
I don't come on, give me a break. I don't belabor this. I'm not going to be talking about the 5th race of the season, but this is Daytona. It's the one marquee time that I feel like I can actually talk about this sort of stuff.
No one's allowed to push your buttons.
Well,
you go after Autumn all day.
But I'm allowed to react. So the twin 150s, if people don't know, the Daytona lineup is done differently. When they did the qualifying, they only set the front row, and then now you race these races to figure out how you're going to actually line up at the beginning of the Daytona 500. So a couple of things. There was a huge crash yesterday in practice. There was a huge crash in the race last Saturday night. Are these guys going to figure it out before the 500, or are we going to have 8 cars racing at the end of the 500?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see. They've got the 2 races tonight, and they've got practice just all throughout the weekend from now until Sunday. So until Saturday afternoon, I suppose. But that was a mess. And the sad thing was that Dave Blaney, who was a driver that you and I, Eric, know, and maybe nobody else, but his Daytona's done. He only had 1 car. He got caught up in that mess, and he's got to go home. So
Dave Blaney is a guy. It's interesting. Dave Blaney gets to a point that Danica Patrick, Richard Petty. Actually, who never says anything bad about anybody, was asked the question, will Danica Patrick ever win a race? And he said, if nobody else shows up, and said that she's not a real race driver. And I have to, and then people are jumping on this because Danica may never win a race. I don't know that Dave Blaney has ever won a race. He's been in NASCAR for a very long time. He's a very good driver. So Danica Patrick can still be an important figure in racing if she never wins a NASCAR. If she just has a 6 or 7 year career and runs in the middle of the pack, I got news for you. That's 99% of the people who have ever run in NASCAR for 6 or 7 years. It's still a hell of achievement if she actually gets a good ride and is actually in NASCAR for 6 or 7 years and doesn't win a race.
Well, off the top of my head, I can tell you that Dave Blaney ran 466 races, has 0 wins and 4 top 5s. So,
and let me tell you something, he's a great race car driver. I mean,
I didn't just pull that up on the computer at all.
No, but my point is, it depends on what equipment you're in and whatever. I feel bad for Dave Blaney because I feel like he's a better driver than the equipment he's in, but he's with a small program, so they wreck the 1 car they have. They don't have a backup, and he's done.
And he's not as sexy.
No.
Sorry, go ahead, Autumn.
He's not as sexy.
Well, yeah, Danica Patrick is using her sex appeal and her femininity, right?
More so lately. What's the deal with the selfie that showed up in Sports Illustrated with the nipple shot?
That's actually from about 6 years ago.
Oh.
So it was not.
Did you research there? Did you, Buzzbait?
I did. Very, very much so, yes. No, I know I had that one imprinted on my brain, so I got it right off. I could tell you the photo.
That's my wallpaper on my telephone.
She is not afraid to go the hot route, and for guys who like big bosoms, I guess she's not their type. But for me, a guy that is into racing, she's so good looking, and can you imagine you would actually have a romp with her, and then you could roll over and talk about the Daytona? You could talk racing? I mean, to me, that's my fantasy. You can't get a better fantasy than that. She's actually hot. She's actually mine. We actually go at it, and then we talk racing? I mean, this is a perfect world.
You seem to have thought this through very, very well.
I have. I've thought about it long and hard, Jay Busby.
Ayo.
Jay Busby,
Heyo.
I've made him. Oh, I thought he said ooh. He said heyo. Okay.
Either one. Either one.
Either one is appropriate. Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports. I'm sorry we made you wait on hold
No
that
problem.
long. We appreciate you joining us. And also, I was going to ask you. So we got the female female hockey. Anything else today that is real big that we need to look forward
Right
to in the
now,
Olympics?
it's the women's figure skating, which is going on right now, and there's nothing. It hasn't happened yet, but so that's going to be the big dominating tonight. For
that
everybody.
15-year-old Russian robot fell or something last
Yeah,
night?
yeah.
She-
Got a little wiring crossed somewhere along the way, and then she fell down. So.
Oh, I thought that she was just unstoppable. Well, see, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
The
sports.
Terminator programming screwed up.
But the annoying American is out, right? I hate to say that as an unpatriotic. Ashley, whatever her name
Ashley
was.
Wagner. She has a chance if she does something insane, like one of those, Blades of Glory type jumps. But,
I'm really
most
sick
likely, yes.
I'm sick and tired of her winning a gold isn't everything attitude over there. It just annoys me. But hey, go America, USA, USA, Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Absolutely. Talk to y'all soon.
All right. And hey, we are coming to the end of this little baby, this little show, our Thursday show of this week. Autumn, what
Yes.
if people want to get in touch with you or talk to you or let you know something about their life or tell you how wrong I was about your natural childbirth?
Yeah, you can talk to me about that all day. You can find me on all the social media at Autopritz, Pritts.
Michael Albanese.
InMyOwnHead.com or Big Man Mike on all the others.
You're not doing any stand-up? He did tell me a couple fans of this show actually talked to him last night.
That was kind of cool.
They had no idea he was having a panic attack.
Yeah, really. I was like talking to him like, yep, I'm dying. I'm dying.
Eric's great. Yeah, it's good to be there.
Yeah, good stuff, yeah. No, I don't think I have anything coming up this week.
Well, you're better than me at telling people about the Village Theater and what I'm doing this Friday.
Yeah, come
so
hang out at the Village Theater.
That's going to be Friday.
Watch me try to not drink and fail miserably.
Friday at 8:30. Oh my gosh,
8:30.
we're gonna do that tomorrow. Then we're gonna have to do that. Friday at 8:30. Village Theater, Cabbagetown. Actually, people they call themselves as being in Cabbagetown, so I'm gonna say Cabbagetown.
Liars. It's
They're
not proper.
right there in or near
Cabbagetown
the
proper?
Yeah.
Pencil Factory, Village Theater. I tell stories. The improv group there, the House Improv Group, acts those stories out. And I think it's going to be a blast. I've got some great stories ready to share. It's only $10, and Eric gets none of that. That goes to the theater. And so, come on out. I don't want them to feel bad that they booked me to do this, and if nobody shows up, my
I'll
stock.
be there.
Boop. Greg's going to be there with his new lady.
And with a new shirt.
Ah,
It's a
you're not
night
going to
of
wear that
news.
shirt?
No.
You're not going to wear that shirt?
I'll bust out something fresh for you.
We're going to figure out a way to do that other show at noon today. We don't really quite have the phones thing worked out yet. We're still working on it, but we're not going to shirk our responsibility. We're going to put something out there. I don't know exactly how it's going to go. So if you want to talk to us more political topics, cultural topics, more of your talk radio type of stuff, that's going to be that other show with EVH, and we'll start at noon. What would you like to say there?
Yeah, you can, if you have some questions, you can talk to us on Facebook, or you can go on Twitter, # Eric Von Radio.
Oh, very good. And if you have questions about the world and
Right.
the state of things today.
Yeah.
Because this show's kind of frivolous. It's kind
Aw.
of pop culture-y, don't you
Okay.
think? No, I mean frivolous in the best way.
Okay.
We're not trying to solve the problems of the world here. That's
Right.
not the point of the show. That's the point of that other show.
Right.
That's where we solve the problems of
That's
the world.
the dinner. The
This
morning
is-
show's dessert.
That's weird. We'd start with dessert. We should start.
The best way to do it.
That's
I eat ice
right.
cream for breakfast all the time.
It's
Delicious.
fantastic. So that's the morning show with EVH. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. Patreon.com. Give us some damn money. Bye.